All right, we are back. Episode 2. We have complete new set of guests here today. Jahandar, welcome. Angel, welcome. Gilles, welcome. If you guys would like to, do introductions, we can. But just so you know, everyone that comes on the pod is homies from the Bay Area, for the most part, and that have, we've known through the NSC football community pickup and things like that. Angel, as a matter of fact, I've actually met in college, and we've been bonded by football, so that's a little bit of a different story. But yeah, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I haven't been on a podcast in like years.
Yeah, he used to do a really cool podcast on anime actually, and I liked it a lot. I miss it.
Shout out Phantom Nekos. Shout out to the homie Yadi.
Oh yeah. So we can get right started. UCL predictions I thought would be a good icebreaker because it did chronologically happen first. This week a lot of shit has happened in football. But it did all kind of start with the crazy qualification round from Kairat, Almaty, and Paphos, making it for the first ever time to the knockout round. Well, not knockout, but like what are they even calling league phase?
League phase.
How do we even feel about that?
I'm still not used to the new phase, the new layout.
Bring me back my groups.
Yeah, bro. The league is nice. The league is nice, bro. Don't hate.
There we go. Nice. There we go.
But look at how it's stacked up here. It's crazy.
So these are just the pots. So basically, here we have pot 1, pot 2, 3, and 4, right? And then I'm gonna show here. I can skip through. These are the actual games that will be played by pot 1 teams and pot 2 teams.
I see.
It is pretty confusing. Let's be honest. I mean, the fact that there is no home and away anymore in terms of the same match, I think gives an advantage to certain teams. That, for example, PSG here, right? You're playing Bayern at home, but then you have to go away to Barca. But you're not going to face Bayern away, which I think is a tough trip to spare you,
Yeah, but you got to go play at Camp Nou, you know what I mean? Or you got to go play away at where's going to be another away at Bilbao is going to be difficult as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's not an easy match.
I think they got it the worst. PSG got the worst luck in the draw because none of these teams, maybe Leverkusen, we'll see. They already fired Ten Hag.
Yeah, Leverkusen's bad.
Already?
Yeah, already.
Yeah. Today, he's gone.
2 match days. All it took.
Well, apparently he was done before the season started. Anyways,
somebody tell Man United to learn from that.
Nah.
No.
Not to learn.
Gone so much sooner.
Oh,
to learn to not have patience. Besides the Leverkusen, though, I think every team looks tough against PSG here. Maybe Atalanta is struggling a little bit this year. They get lost Gasperini, which was the glue of the team, the coach. But
that's a tough group.
I don't think they're gonna get first 8 spots here. My question to you guys is, could a team from pot 2, so from the right column, win? Or I would say, could any of these teams actually win from pot 2?
Like win it all?
Win it all. Could Arsenal manage to do it?
We'll see. We'll see how good their attack is.
Yeah. I think
they're the only one I would pick that has a possibility.
Yeah. I would say Juve, obviously they're not going to win the Champions League, but they are looking much better this year and could potentially have an interesting season.
I feel like Benfica could have a deep run, but they probably won't win it all.
No, yeah. Well, yeah. Pot 3 has Tottenham, Napoli, Sporting, Marseille, PSV. I mean, these are good teams also in the pot 3. Champions of Italy, baby, in pot 3.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think your best teams in pot 3 are going to be like Napoli and Spurs. Because everybody else has had crazy turnover, right? Like, Ajax is not good, or maybe good on a new coach, right? PSV is okay. Sporting isn't good; they got rated, and Marseille is dysfunctional as well.
Struggling. I'm really excited to see these stadiums though in Uzbekistan and in Cyprus. Even Bodo Glimt, which we got to see them a little bit in the Europa League last year, but they are at the very north of Norway. So you can see here, Juve is going to have to go play them at home. Man City is going to have to go make the trip up all the way to the north of Europe. It's a tough trip to make, you know.
Definitely.
I mean,
I think it's worse for an Italian team. I think it's worse for an Italian team than it is for, say, City.
Oh, yeah. I mean, whoever's making the trip out to Uzbekistan, Real Madrid's going to have to fly out like 10 hours for this match. It's as if they were playing on the East Coast, you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting, Champions League. I really wanted to make a pie chart. I don't know. I haven't made one in probably decades. So I was like, what is the only thing I can make a pie chart about? And I made it about the demographic of the Kairat Almaty team. Almost half the team is from Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
I
actually looked at their roster to see what their team was made up of.
Right.
So I was curious of the same thing.
Interesting. Great.
You always have these teams with a lot of Brazilians.
Yes.
I mean,
I was betting that. Go ahead.
I got a theory that's basically you can't win anything if you don't have at least one Brazilian on your team. Like, just any league in the world, like if you don't have one Brazilian, bro, you're not winning the league. I would bet, like, I'd put money on that actually being true too.
Low key,
also, there's just hella players. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, remember when like Shakhtar Donetsk had like a full Brazil team with like two players that
they
were
have 3
not
Brazilians right now.
Yeah,
like, they just sold that dude Kevin back to Brazil, right? Like, that's the other thing too. Is like you have a lot of these teams that are like, cool, like you're gonna go play here, and then like hopefully you'll play well enough that you'll move to a different country. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's the goal. And also, like, the thing that I think people forget is like the cost benefit of playing in Europe, like what it can do for you as a Brazilian and for your fan. Like, you can go out here and like 2 seasons in Shakhtar, like, you're not getting paid crazy, but you're making like 5 times what you'd make playing like wherever else. You know, like if you're playing for fucking a lower tier, top league Brazilian squad, like you might make more playing for Shakhtar, and like significantly more. Even playing for like Kairat, like there's a dude here that's like nationalized apparently, right? Like this dude João Paulo, like he's 40, right? He's nationalized in Uzbekistan or in Kazakhstan, right? Like he was like, I kind of fuck with this here. Like I'm staying. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like pay me and I'm here, you know?
This is the other team that is gonna join for the first time. I call them Barber FC because what is this logo that we got going on here? It's just like, if you've ever traveled in the Middle East or in that area of the Mediterranean, you know that barbers will have the most unhinged way to display haircuts down there. And I feel like they just like thresholded one of those images and slapped it on their logo.
I think there was a clip I saw that was detailing the source of that face on there, and there was some tragic story behind the guy who, I don't know the story, but there's a history behind the person that's on the logo.
I'm sure there have to be, because they're also a relatively new club. They're founded, I think, in 2014. So it's probably a recent happening. Quick question. We all have our teams, but who are you picking for your team, JJ or Drogba?
I mean, Drogba, no question. I'm a Chelsea fan, and Drogba's the reason I'm a Chelsea fan. So Drogba, no question. But also, like, impact-wise, still Drogba.
Drogba's a problem. So, as a United fan, like, he was a problem. I'm picking Drogba.
I think Drogba definitely, yeah, he's a more functional player as far as like if you want to win. But JJ is a legend.
I mean, so is Drogba, but
I know,
I
but
would
he's
have to
got that
say-
mystical wizard kind of
exactly.
feel, you know,
Right.
like a Ronaldinho or something
Yeah.
that you don't really get with Drogba. I mean, you do. Like Drogba is the same, but I don't know. I think I'm more like, you know, I used to play FIFA and just do skill moves, you know. That's kind of my vibe, you know.
JJ's an entertainer, but the problem is like there are entertainers that can win you games, and JJ wasn't that. JJ was always
honestly, I'd
Sounds
rather
like a
be
good day.
entertained. I'd rather be entertained.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I feel
Drogba
like
will also entertain you with a fire ass goal at the last possible minute to win the
That's
Champions
true.
League.
That's true.
But I
yeah,
hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
yeah, and I mean, Drogba, he stopped the Civil War, so you can't forget that. That's also crazy, legendary.
absolutely.
I was about to bring that up too. Like he literally prevented armed conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the most important or second most important African footballer.
Yeah, I would argue maybe Weah.
That's
you
it.
know,
You
but
know what I mean?
that's the
Eto'o
only.
also, maybe.
Eto'o did definitely wonders for
Yeah.
Cameroon, but I also think, yeah, I mean, Weah without question, you know, Ballon d'Or activist becomes like the president of the country, you know, so of Liberia. So crazy story there.
Yeah, Eto'o's
Alright.
down there in Cameroon running the same corruption rackets that were running before he took over the federation. So you know what I mean? Like,
Angel, this is your time. Unleash.
Dude, oh my god. For fucking, like literally last time we won, I was talking to my coworker who's a Liverpool fan and a fucking Juve fan too at that too. But anyways, he was like, excuse me, when's the last time y'all won the league? And I'm like, it's been 12 years, 2013. Since Ferguson left. And like basically like we've been in like this perpetual transitional period, but like the transitional period has evolved into a cycle of abuse at this point. It's the same shit over and over again. Like we get a new manager, there's fucking hope on the horizon. He has a vision, he brings in players. Things kind of work out for a little while. Maybe some silverware, especially under Mourinho. And then, like, we fall out of form. And then manager sack, and then rinse and repeat. But the thing is, like, in the past, like, with every manager, including Moisey, I've, like, backed them until, like, their respective bitter end. But there's just something about Amarin where I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I think the stat is like in 29 Premier League games he got 28 points, and that's just fucking abysmal. Like, yeah, he's only been at the helm for less than a calendar year, but even then, like he's still at he has the worst win percentage of any of the previous managers. And then, I mean, the deadline's over. Thank God it didn't come to fruition, but like, Grimsby Town fucking broke me. Like, I had a generational crash out on Instagram when that shit happened. But when,
Yeah,
like,
this
if
is
we,
this left image here is from Angel's story, by the way.
this game broke me. And then when I caught wind that like we were also maybe gonna get rid of Mainu, I'm like, what is he cooking? What the fuck is he doing?
I hear you, but it's just like what is the solution here? I don't think anyone knows. I mean,
the solution is your biggest problem is you have shitty owners.
Yes.
Right.
Like as much as you want to talk about, whatever, Big Jim came in, okay, cool, he's gonna help. He only took over like 25% of the club. You have American owners that don't care and are running it like a venture and like running it like vulture capitalism, right? Like, cool, let's sell them a United brand before we have a good product on the field. So you guys aren't going to be good until you solve that problem.
No,
everything
yeah.
else, every other problem you have is directed by the fact that like our owners don't care and are trying to actively take money out of the club, and they're hiring whoever the fuck they can get to do every other job. And
The fucking Glazers, they just fucking used United's name and image and trademark as like a fucking credit card for themselves. It's just,
to their credit, they have definitely built United into a global brand and have done. Their goal was to turn into a money making operation, and because they saw that it was underexploited from a financial standpoint, and they absolutely succeeded at that. The only problem is they've murdered the club for every other, strip mined the club for everything else, and just gutted it because they said, "Cool, we're vulture capitalists, right? Like that's bad."
Yeah,
you're fucked, and you're fucked, and like you're fucked because of that.
Yeah.
Well, let's assume that they're not going anywhere. So you can only think about outside of selling the club. I don't know. I think in that conversation, if you don't point the finger at them, I wouldn't point the finger at Amorim because, I mean,
I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like a cycle with how many managers have they been through in the last couple of years, and how many, it's not just the managers. Like, you look at their squad, it's not a Manchester United squad, and you look at what the squad that he inherited and the problems that are going on in the squad and the previous manager and the chaos that was under Ten Hag, and the one before that. And it's like players go there for big money and look at the value when they leave. And they're not evil. They haven't been able to move on players this whole window because nobody wants them because they're all shells, And it's the same thing with the managers. Look at the guy got fired in Leverkusen after 2 games. They didn't even give him a chance. Like
Mourinho was just sacked from Fenerbahce.
The same,
and
Solskjaer
was just sacked from Besiktas.
This club is cursed. And you look at him and what he says in the press conference, Amorim, and it's like he's like a scared kitten, kind of vibe. Like he's like, he don't know what to say,
Literal deer caught in the headlights.
Yeah, exactly.
No confidence.
And it's like, when I saw that they lost it, I was in the taqueria getting a burrito, and I looked up at the screen. I'm like, oh, there's a game on. And I looked at the score. I was like, oh, Grimsby Town, who I know is a lower tier team, it was 2-1 at the time, beating Manchester United. I just kept walking. I didn't even do a double take, I didn't even think it was something out of the ordinary. I was normal. Like, oh yeah, they're getting rolled over by, a 4th tier opposition. It's not out of the ordinary in this version of Manchester United that's been here for forever, So is it the fault of Amorim? I mean, everything he's going to do is going to be scrutinized, But look at the goalkeepers he's choosing between,
Yeah.
Like, look at the back line, look at the Casemiro,
Man,
I'm not hating on him specifically.
Yeah, he's a good player, but he can't be playing.
But not around
the whole field. He can't cover the whole field at 4.
Exactly.
He's 34.
Look at who he's got for support.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We need to sell
And people are hating on Benjamin Šeško, which already I feel unfairly because there's so much pressure on whoever comes in there. Like he's worth a lot of money. He's a good striker. But now they're saying he's shit just because he's in Man United and he didn't hit the ground running after 2-3 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a couple of things there, right? Like, one, it's definitely not Amorim's fault. He definitely did this to himself by taking the job midway through the season. He also is like living and dying by the back 3, which, a different manager might be a little more flexible given the roster that he has at hand to like potentially try to play to the strengths of the whatever pieces that he can put together. That's not what he's doing. Okay. That's a choice. You can fault him for that. But, like, past that, the roster's poorly built. They did some good signings this year, right? Like, I don't hate Cunha. I don't hate Mbuemo. Like, Šeško could be good. Šeško is again, like, a player who, like, hasn't lived up to his potential yet and still, like, has clear issues even when he was on the market. Like, there's a reason why he was still on the market by that point. He was overpriced for what you were getting.
I think
that's the keeper.
They didn't solve the back line problem, which we knew was an issue. Like, right? Like, they were starting Lindelof and fucking...
like fullback
Maguire.
Maguire.
And it's like respect to Maguire, like he's done nothing but like perform when he gets the chance, but like you have 2 slow ass center backs and you're trying to play it back 3. Like what are we doing? Like what are you doing? Okay, cool. You have Kobe there who could play. Like you had 2 10s. You had Fernandez and Kobe, and then you want to go get, and you have Mount who really is really more of like an attacking mid, and like then you went and got 2 attacking mids and didn't solve any of your defensive issues, like you're fucked, right? Like, but that's a top-down issue.
With Kobe is to me the most surprising thing, where I'm like, you actually have a talented, promising player who a lot of other clubs want, and he's not playing, he's asking for a transfer apparently or a loan, and it's ridiculous. I mean, this should be your this is like your one hope for the future, you know? On top of that, you know, whether you rate Garnacho or not, Garnacho is gone, you know? I don't really rate him, but you know, that's another one of your promising. They said he's worth so much money and he's this future talent, you know. I don't feel like he really was the answer to anything in Man United, but look at what, you know, there's so much problems going on there. You can't really pinpoint one thing specifically, you know.
I mean, you can pinpoint the owners. Like, you can pinpoint the organization.
Yeah, no,
like, I think that's what you can pinpoint. And like,
for sure.
And this is true, I think, with, you know, this is not even a football thing, right? Like, if you have shitty ownership in any business, like, the business is going to be faulty. And you're seeing
but
it, or the organization can be faulty. You're seeing it time.
Honestly, I feel like they need to back Amorim. You know, they haven't given managers enough. I mean, some managers, I feel like they've given certain managers too much time and other managers not enough time, you know? And he's someone where I feel like he's calm. You know, I don't know that he really knows what he's doing yet, but they definitely made some good signings this window. And, you know, he hasn't really had his team, and it's been like 3 games, you know, let him put something together with them and let the group build chemistry.
Yeah.
And I think they'll do better than last season, honestly.
And that was the crossroads that I approached that. It's like, because like I lost a lot of confidence in Amarin, but at the same time, like you're saying, like, what other option is there? Like, like there's not already a whole lot of managers like on the market ready to just start managing a big team. And of course, like if we do that, it's just like a rinse and repeat of the same cycle. So yeah, it like the most like logical thing right now is to just at least just let him cook, like see how this season progresses, and go from there. But holy hell, like yeah, it's just like we don't have like the same like competitive culture like in the locker room. It's just a shell of its former self. It was tough that Garnacho left, but I wasn't like too distraught about it. We gotta. I'm not gonna be critical of Šeško because he's so new, and I also just love the fact that Newcastle fronted more money than us and Champions League football, and then he was like, nah, I'm gonna go to United, and I'm just like, yeah, we're so massive, let's go. And we just signed Lemons. So
when life gives you lemons,
literally
I should have made that title.
Bro, you're pinning your hopes on a keeper right now that played. Where was he? Was in fucking USG? Where was he at?
He was at Anderlecht.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
We'll see.
Let's be honest.
Bro.
Have you seen? Did you look up his highlight reel? Are you rating him?
I don't know shit
Anybody?
about bro, but like he could be good at anything. But that's a huge step up, right? Like, you have a lot of players here that like need to take generational leaps for United to be a passable squad this year.
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully, at least puts pressure and more competition on the goalkeeping position.
You have bad keepers. You have bad keepers. Absolutely.
You know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Bayindir, how is Bayindir that bad? I feel like he's barely had any matches. You know, he's made some mistakes.
It's just, you know, I think as a young keeper, when you get that chance and you start making mistakes right away, it's hard to shake off. Even for someone like Onana, who performed in his career, he has done well. Start making mistakes as a keeper, you get caught in this loop of making mistakes, and it's just in your mind. I think personally a lot of keepers are pretty great players, you know, but like it's just a matter of mashing the back line, the club's mentality, what they feel when they're playing. I feel that way about Napoli's keeper too, Meret, who a lot of people criticize, but numbers talk, and he's a decent keeper, you know. But a lot of Neapolitans Yeah, he's good, but you know, a lot of people feel that way about they would feel about Onana. It's like, oh, this guy makes mistakes continuously. But it's
Yeah.
like, I think it's the more fans are bagging on him, the more that's the outcome it produces. That's
Definitely. I also think it's easier to be hard on keepers because they make mistakes that lead to goals.
Right.
Like,
Right.
that being said, and like a lot of times the mistakes they make are because the back line made it play like shit, or the center, like your defense is trash, or your mids are trash, like, which is, that's the United problem. Like, you guys aren't doing Onana any favors by putting him in a back line that lets people just run.
Yeah, but Onana's not doing the back line favors either.
No, 100%. That's the thing, right? Like, but at the end of the day, like Onana's also making bad, questionable decision making, not even in a distribution sense, just in his positioning. You've seen it for 2 years. Like, are you a good shot stopper? We don't know. You're out of position all the time. Same with Bayender or whatever. It's like you see him make decisions that like don't look like. It's not like he's missing balls. He's just in the wrong place. And to me, that is a scary thing to see out of your keeper, because if he's in the wrong place, like that leads to a deeper issue of like, hey, like thought, like actual skill, rather than like, oh, he's 1-on-1 with the fucking forward again, like 50% chance here, you know what I mean?
So you say they're in the wrong place, but maybe, you see all these players in Man United and it seems like they're in the wrong place. It's like the whole club is like that. So
even the keeper has positional
with the keepers, like
confusion.
Like there's a reason that they signed Onana, and they spent a lot of money on him and he was supposed to be the answer, but is it that United is so shambolic that everything's going wrong?
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of feels like that a little bit.
Definitely. I mean, people don't go to United and get put in a position to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everyone who's left at this point has done better for themselves, and I think Højlund is the latest in the conversation. Not because he's going to Napoli, but I think anywhere he had gone, I think he would have performed, because I've seen him play a lot of minutes in Serie A, and he looked incredible. I knew going into the Prem he was not gonna perform the same way, but I think he's a great striker, and could have definitely performed in the Prem at a different club, in my opinion.
He was where, Atalanta, right?
He was at Atalanta, which that was prime Atalanta that made semifinals against PSG. So, I think anyone in that system was a well-oiled machine. So,
yeah,
I
mean, Lookman performed after he left, right? Like he worked well in the specific system.
Right.
Then they said, okay, cool, you're gonna be the guy at United. Like,
right, yeah.
That seems like a lot of pressure to put on a kid who is questionable.
No, yeah,
this is
I'm
the
really
other
happy.
side of. Are you happy about this though, Angel? At least both Manchester teams are struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I do find solace in it. Yes, I always love, no matter how small or how big. I'm always a hate watcher somewhere.
Have you guys heard much about the Brighton coach? He's the youngest coach in the Premier League history. 31 years old. Used to be at St. Pauli. He helped them get back to Bundesliga. I think the game. Did you guys catch much of the Brighton Man City game?
Yes,
I watched the whole game.
I'm so in love with the way that the Brighton played in the second half. As soon as Man City got a little bit relaxed, they started hammering, and they did not give them the tempo in the midfield that they are used to.
He made a quadruple change after halftime. He brought on 4 different players, and they immediately changed the game.
Yes.
They upped the tempo incredibly, and the scoreline could have been much higher because Trafford had some incredible saves throughout the whole match. Not a lot, and that's another goalkeeper that had a lot of criticism the last couple weeks, but I think he had a really good game.
He's not gonna be playing though.
Not anymore.
Did Donnarumma sign?
Yeah, yes, so. It's official, and really? I think it will help. It won't solve obviously Man City problems. It's much deeper than that. I think people are starting to figure out Pep. I think.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's the first time he's lost 2 of his opening 7 games. Ever in a Pep team. But how much of this is Man City's squad and Pep versus Brighton's tactical masterclass? I think there's some amount of this loss that has to, I'm taking nothing away from Brighton, but there's a lot of new players in the Man City roster that are not really up to speed. And you look at Man City as this like world-class best team in the world, and you look at the team on the pitch right now, they have some injuries and some question marks, and I'm not looking at like a world-class team in all 11 players.
No, not at all. Especially defensively, I think they are not looking well.
Kusanov played the full game. You have
made a few mistakes, but he's improving.
Mateus Nunes at right back.
Look, dude, the penalty he concedes is just the laziest. Like, oh, I'm gonna jump like this. How? What? Like,
that
means you're not dialed in. You know what I mean? If you're dialed, you don't jump like that.
He's a huge question mark. Nouri was getting burned by the Brighton winger. Minte was crushing him all game. And defensively, Nouri was trying to go up against him, and he would, Minte got man of the match, and they just didn't look like world-class players. There's a couple people obviously Haaland is incredible. Rodri, the center midfield section, Tijani Reinders is like my favorite player, and he's incredible, but he didn't have a great game either. I'm honestly, I don't think Man City are in the title running this season.
No,
with
not at all.
What I'm seeing with the squad, with the performances so far,
especially when you have Aragorn free kicks. the way that he uncorked that match. I think the duality of Liverpool right now, they look like they're gonna win any match.
I hate that
because. Well, I'm not saying they're playing incredibly well, but the fact that they won that way against Newcastle, they won this 1-0, they look the better side against Arsenal.
They won the transfer market too. They won the whole window.
Yeah.
Isak
I think it's an easy title for Liverpool this year. Easy.
Yeah, Isak was just confirmed 1 hour ago.
We'll see on an easy title. I think your top four are stronger than you think. I think Liverpool has a little bit more instability than people want to give in. Like their back line has looked suspect. It just has looked suspect all so far all season. And there's growing pains. Like Wirtz has not settled in. So we'll see what happens. And Arsenal's good. We'll see if they can score goals. Like, hey, look, I'm a Chelsea fan. Don't count Chelsea out. Like,
I was about to bring up Chelsea. Like, they could.
Chelsea might have the best midfield in the Prem. Like,
that's
definitely. That's definitely a take. But it's you could I could defend that. And bro, I don't think the gap is going to be as big as it was last year, right? Like they won by a ton last year because City fell the fuck off and Arsenal wasn't there yet and they had no depth, and that was it. That was the top three teams last year. Chelsea got top four, but it was touch and go all season there, right? Like this year, Chelsea looks good, Arsenal looks good, City looks worse than maybe last year, but they still finished third last year, so they they're top five, and then Brighton looks good. I think Newcastle can fuck around and end up somewhere.
Man City will be back for sure. That's not in question. They will be back. But
that's what I'm saying. So for me, it's I don't want to give Liverpool a title 2 games into the year already. That's it. And
I don't think they get the title just because Man City are off the pace in the beginning. I think Chelsea is super strong this year. I think last season at this time we were kind of questioning their transfer strategy, as always, because it's always been unconventional. But now you're kind of seeing what they're putting together, and you're like, oh fuck, this is scary. Like they have depth, and they have a lot of good players, and if they can avoid injuries and Palmer can perform, and some of the new signings can come in there, they're serious. They might be title contenders. All of a sudden.
Yeah. I think I can talk Chelsea all day, but I think we're gonna finish top 3. I don't know. I wouldn't put us winning the title, but we're up there.
I would say that
definitely up there.
What I've seen from Liverpool that you don't see from a lot of teams is that they're playing like shit and they win games.
Facts.
And that's
facts.
To me, that's title winning title winning stuff right there. And I know we're 3 games in, but like the performances from Soboslai to slot in as right back, put Martinelli in his pocket. He obliterated that fool. Like non-existent. Like I think he dribbled past him once to nowhere. And
Martinelli's been.
I don't rate him high.
Did not exist for 2 seasons, but yeah, I hear you.
I mean, I don't rate him high. Me and Dylan, we have had many fights about this. I would rate Garnacho higher than I do Martinelli. At least he has more courage when he points.
Sure,
I think you have to understand that someone like Garnacho has never played in a functional system. So we'll see him at a club that actually plays football, and then we judge. But Martinelli is under the... sorry, but I mean, that's what it is. You know, and he still has like one of the best goals in Prem's recent history with the bike, which it's a goal, whatever, but Martinelli would ever get that moment? I doubt it, you know. I highly doubt it. He would never even have the courage to go get that ball, you know. I just love seeing players that point the man down 1-to-1 every time. And if you have a guy that's playing out of position on your side, it's criminal that you don't point at him every time, you know, because he's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna get a yellow card. Then he's gonna defend differently. But Martinelli just didn't do that at all. And when Edze came on, I think I would have loved to see him sooner, because I think that game would have been way different. But he's not ready yet, so.
Start of the season, his first game, like, I would have liked to see him at like 75 or like 60 minutes. Would have been cool rather than him coming in. He came in at what, like 80, 84, somewhere like that.
Yeah, that's too late.
Like, he's not doing like, right, like, that's a prayer.
They just paid $95 million for him. That's, you know, and you give him 6 minutes in arguably one of the most important games in the season. I don't care if he's been there for 2 days, you know. Like, at least give him 15 minutes, you know, or like 20 minutes, you know. And they need him.
After you see what Martinelli is doing with the first half, I would have made that switch right at half. Because what's the worst thing that it can happen? You know, he couldn't be possibly play worse than Martinelli already did that first half.
Or at least bring in like Trossard or somebody. Like you have other wingers. There's other players on the pitch. You know.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about this? I mean, Gilles sent this to me. Thank you for that. I love this. Is Spain. This is Southern Europe in a nutshell, right here. Rayo Vallecano owner was questioned about pitch conditions, and he said that, you know, he thinks it's suitable, and that if Diego Maradona would have played on that field, he would have performed wonders. He always did on muddy fields. But I mean, obviously, I love the Diego mention. He's my god, and Lamine is not that. You know, I hope for him that he becomes even half of what Diego was. But as of right now, you know, he's not. But that's besides the point. We're looking at a La Liga team with a field that could be easily in like under a freeway pass in Oakland. So like, what's going on?
Dude, it's not. One thing about Spain, like, it's not football. It's La Liga. Like, it's always something. This is atrocious. This is god awful. This is the shit that would break my leg again playing soccer. Holy fuck.
But I'm thinking, like, so then the fact that they go on to draw this game 1-1, do they have a point that they would have won or do you think that's a little...
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it would have been a different match if they played on a real field. Like that's one of the. It's not even just that. Like, right, like it was half the field looked like legitimate ass, like dirt patches and whatever, right? Like that is football, but it's, you know, we're not playing professional football at that point. You know what I mean? Like you having the kids just playing on a fucking playground. So
right.
There's a structural issue with La Liga, right? Like there's a structural issue with all the leagues, right? There's a lot of. You know, I'm sure there's some bad pitches in Italy. I'm sure there's some clubs in Serie B that play on bad pitches that if they came up to Serie A, like, it would be one of those weeks, and they might try some gamesmanship against Milan or Inter or Napoli or whoever, you know what I mean? Like, or Juve, right? Like, and same goes in, you know, Portugal or Greece or, you know, less so in, like, Germany or Northern Europe where it's a little easier to go grass and, like, they're a little more on the nose about that shit.
I think like, a lot of this deals with weather, because this weather, to make a pitch look like this, you would never have in Northern Europe, and in the south of Italy is it's a desert. Some patches, growing a field is
facts.
You need God for that,
Facts, but also like you shouldn't be able to be a top flight team if you can't put together a passable pitch on a week in, week out basis. Just point blank.
I agree.
That's to point blank. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Some weeks it might be worse than others, but like that's not the field being worse.
Maintaining
than
a pitch in top shape quality, there's groundskeepers and field maintainers. It costs a lot of money to upkeep a lawn like that, in top quality. So these lower, teams that are coming up and down from the second league, the pitch is not always going to be like Barcelona's pitch, or the pitch at the Bernabeu, and it's kind of like we were talking about playing Bodo Glimt up in the north of Norway. It's like they have a home field advantage because it's fucking cold up there. There's these, and they can't do anything about that. They play on a crappy pitch all the time, and that's their experience. They're not complaining about it. That's just their pitch. And it's definitely, there's both sides of the perspective, and I think that they're, as long as it's within the regulations that La Liga sets or whatever your league sets. You look at like in MLS, they're playing on artificial turf, sometimes.
Sure, but it's not like 3 different levels of artificial turf, right? Like it doesn't go from concrete
but that's like a whole nother thing than playing on grass.
That's 2 different surfaces.
This is a patching job
right there.
This is basically like layered lasagna type beat.
But I'm like, look at the perspective of if you're one of the Rayo Vallecano players and you're facing up against Lamine Yamal, who's like, or any of the superstars on Barcelona, you need all the advantages you can get, to get like you're going to be fighting relegation,
Bro, no Rayo player wants to play on that pitch. No Rayo player is like proud about playing on that pitch on a daily basis. Bro,
if you're going to use it to your advantage to beat one of the top teams, it's like clubs like that have to count on these sort of, little things,
I hear you.
I think the fans feel bad about it too.
I'm just saying that you can use it to your advantage.
But there's none of that. Like, bro, like if you really read up on this shit, because I was interested in, because this shit will happen every year. Like someone will play a shitty pitch, right? Like, and it's like they're playing in a stadium they haven't done updates in like 30 years. The owners, again, similar to United, strip mining. Like this is United's leaky roof, but on the pitch, right? Like this is the owners like not giving a shit about the stadium, presenting a quality. Like, bro, Rayo finished like 7th or 8th last year. Maybe 12th, 8th, right? Like it's not like like they just came up. They've been up for like 6 years, bro. Like they're not, the owner is taking money that is there and not presenting a quality product, like a product, not even a quality product, a product that matches the league that they play in, right? Like that's got to come from a league. And Spain, Tebas has his own issues and La Liga's broken and whatever you could say. But that's true about every league, right? But like that, you shouldn't be allowed to play on that. Point blank, you shouldn't be allowed to play on that. You just shouldn't.
Where everyone dreams of playing, at least I did when I was a kid, is the Parc des Princes. Even when PSG was like non-existent, they didn't, like, I loved the stadium for some reason. John Neves is honoring playing in the stadium week in and week out. I think this guy is a generational talent. Like we're witnessing history with this guy. He, besides this week's hat trick, which if you haven't seen, I strongly recommend going and looking at these highlights, because he scores a bike brace and then a banger from outside the box. I mean, if Ronaldo did that, if anyone else who's not this guy, this young guy, I guess they're hyping him too, but my point is there's certain plays that if they do that, they're already in the Ballon d'Or conversation in August.
Yeah.
Who was their opponent?
They played Toulouse, and as in the team, not to take an L.
That's what I thought.
But the game was pretty scrambled. It was 6-3 PSG. So, it's Ligue 1 at its finest. There's very little defense, but I think it doesn't take anything away from the quality of his goals, because they're like pretty individual goals, and he could have scored them on anyone. I mean, he's free in the box for the bikes, sure, but like, I just love this guy. I love the confidence.
He was eating at Benfica too. And he's
Yeah.
from Portugal.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
from Portugal, bro. He's. I mean, bro. Like again, like that PSG midfield in general. PSG in general is stacked. PSG midfield is stacked. João Neves makes like for all the hype Vitinha got last year. Like that shit was made by the fact that João Neves was covering 75% of the pitch.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
right,
he's a
like,
monster.
even on a national team level, like right, like for all the hype that they got, like right, like for all the hype that Vitinha and Nuno Mendes got, like for being able to go forward and attack crazy, like that was because João Neves was there to clean up the mess. And like he doesn't just clean up the mess. He's he's not a box to box, but he's a whole pitch midfielder, like complete midfielder. He's you're talking about top 5 men in the game.
Absolute workhorse.
Yeah. I think
And
it's
that
a
PSG team is
testament to
stacked. I wish
it's
they
a
would play
testament-
better teams.
Yeah, and the fact that he's
Ah,
scoring
yeah.
hat tricks is on top of all that. That type of player that can also bag goals
Yeah, 100%.
is, it's like it takes his game to another level.
Like right, like he's what people wish Declan Rice was.
I thought this would be an interesting question. Who would you rather be? Mario Gomez or Edin Dzeko? Mind you, the guy on the left, he's a world champion with Germany.
Yeah, and scored a banger to win that in that World Cup, right? Like that was integral
Yeah.
to them winning it.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
I
so,
mean, I would still.
What prompted you to ask this question? What's going through your brain?
This is how my brain works, and this is why I have the friends that I have. Is that like just these questions pop in my brain
Yeah.
all day long, and I have to know what people are feeling because I love to be Dzeko. He's a sauce. He's like This guy is so criminally underrated in my book. Maybe it's because he played in Serie A for so long, and I got to see him a lot. But even at City, he was a
he's class at
baller. I
City.
mean,
he's
He's a
a
problem. He's another problem at City. Especially in that transitional period immediately after Ferguson. Like Dzeko at City was.
He was a beast.
He came in and he was the strike partner to Tevez, right? At City.
Yeah.
And then,
Balotelli was on the team.
Yeah,
I think
Balotelli
still.
there too. Yeah.
That was pre-Aguero. Did he cross over into Aguero?
Yeah,
territory?
he was
Yeah.
before Aguero and left after Aguero basically took the job.
Yeah,
Right.
I think 1 year with Aguero or maybe
Yeah.
2, but he.
I think the reality for Dzeko, right, is like he's the best player
And Yaya Toure.
from his country, right? Like, would you rather be the best player in a country that like ultimately like you're never gonna compete past maybe the semifinals of the Euros, or would you rather be a World Cup winner that had your moment early and then like haven't been able to capture that same magic? Like, being nice at Wolfsburg for hella years, sick. That's dope. He played he played at Bayern too, right, for a while. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, he
cool.
played at Fiorentina.
And he was
I
in
think
Fiorentina, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was always
performed.
not the out and out. Maybe there was times when he was in question to being the best German striker.
Yeah.
But there was always other people in the running. Like Miroslav Klose was around as well.
Yeah.
And
Legend.
I think also legend. And would you rather be him or Gomez? I would say Klose, maybe.
Of course,
And
yeah. Of course.
So, and then I think the point where Dzeko is like arguably has been the best player from his country for the foreseeable last 10 years.
I mean, he's older than
Pjanic.
the record, but
Yeah.
But to be like the god for for your respective country is a huge thing.
Mhm.
With people like kids looking up to you and being like, I want to be that guy. I want to be
Especially
that
Bosnia.
striker.
Bosnia is a sick country. Shout out to Jasko. Has a show coming up in September. If you're in the Bay, check it out.
yeah.
Are we all Dzeko, hands down?
Oh, I thought that was solved. My bad.
Yeah, I think we're all Dzeko.
I
No, I
think
think
Dzeko,
it's
no question.
Dzeko
Okay.
across the board.
Here is a little idea of why, to me, Italian football is not only failing, but it's shameful. So, you take Samuele Ricci, pay around $30 million, then you sign Modric for free. So, automatically, Ricci is he's not even in the squad anymore because Modric is going to start every game, play most of the game. So, you took and this is crazy because he's considered a young talent in Italy. He's already 24, which you're not in all the other countries. It would be considered like, okay, if you're not like starting material by 24, like get out of here. But I still think it's crazy how you bench this guy for Modric, who's, we don't have to talk about Modric. We all love Modric. He's amazing. But from a physical standpoint, let him play 20 minutes to close out a game or to like come from behind or something. But like, you're taking minutes away from this guy who's honestly a talented player, Samuel Ricci. So, wanted to share my frustrations.
I mean, I think watching, I'm a little bit of a Milano fan for a long time, and the transfer strategy has been like throwing a bunch of random players into a hat and then just pulling out like 3 of them. And then sometimes you have like, okay, now we have like too many of the same midfielders that have played the same position, and none of them are actually the player we need, or, too many strikers that are not quite up to snuff, or it's just like, you look at it, it's like a puzzle, but all the pieces are from different puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we signed Modric, and I was like, this is not going to bring us anywhere. Like, it's great because it's Luka Modric, but it would be great if the team was functional, and then we added a Luka Modric.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
like the Napoli.
The guy is like 30. How old is he?
signing.
37 or 36 or 38 even, maybe? I don't know.
He's up.
And he's already...
39.
Luka Modric is already... He just purchased part of Swansea. I'm also a Swansea fan, which is great. But the guy is now in his era of his career where he's buying clubs, So, for me, this is like... He's already kind of like shifting his focus away from the pitch. And so signing him and Ricci, which is what's going on here,
Yeah,
Confusion Hill.
How much of it, I feel like there's a couple things, especially when it comes to Italian football. One is like most of the teams are running on very slim margins, right? Like when it comes to like budgets. So there's that aspect. Yeah. So squad building is difficult in Italy in a way that it previously wasn't. Secondarily, right, like your best players are going to get poached for that same reason, right? Like it's like Reinders, right? Like if someone comes and wants you, like you're going to get paid.
Right.
But yeah, from a transfer strategy, this doesn't make a lot of sense. I also like don't think in the grand scheme of things, getting Modric is the worst call. Just don't play him all the time. Like, right, like that's not a transfer strategy issue, right? Like that's a organizational and like coaching issue. Like, why is Modric playing every game when you have this other dude on the bench that should be starting?
Milan doesn't have any European competitions this year, so there is only a certain amount of games available, which is I think it definitely helps them this year because they're rebuilding. But like, it's not like Samuel Ricci is gonna play in the Conference League or getting minutes in Coppa Italia. Like, he's way past that stage as a player. He played 40 games last year and performed.
They also signed the guy from Brugge.
Bruges, right?
From Bruges.
Yashari, which is also in this conversation.
He's also in the same position. Center mid, and they paid a lot of money for him. And there was a lot of speculation whether he's going to join sort of as Reinders' replacement. And then you have, I'm blanking on his name, the guy from Chelsea, center mid.
Loftus-Cheek,
Loftus-Cheek.
I mean, and you have Pulisic
in the question.
Playing out of
and he's another center attacking midfield.
As of right now, Loftus-Cheek will be playing behind the striker. So
he's a little higher up the pitch.
Right, he's also hurt half the year.
Yeah, but that's also not his position. To be playing like behind the striker. It's just like, I mean, it's Allegri football.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I follow with like a numbness. I'm just like, okay, I like that team. Let's see what's going on there. I have to just be totally unattached.
Modric should be.
Who owns Milan these days? Is it still the random Chinese people? Or
Chinese
firm?
I think they're from they got a new ownership though. They have American investors. They have an investment fund.
Again, here's the same thing I was saying about United, right? Like it's top down ownership issues, right? Like Milan went from Berlusconi, who cared about the club for very specific reasons and turned them into what they were, to what was it, the Chinese ownership, like Red something, that like did not care, saw it as an asset, was trying to get as much money out of it. Italian football wasn't in a place where they could make a ton of money, so they kind of went broke. They got in all their other scandals that happen in Italian football, and then get prosecuted for them. Lost a bunch of money that way, or lost a bunch of revenue that way, and then now we're in a situation where like, cool, how can they survive for the next 3 years to maybe become a profitable entity again and actually have like a cohesive transfer strategy? So it's one of those big transition years that people want to look at it from a myopic level, and it's really like a macro level of like, where is Milan at in the greater scheme of like an organization, and can they survive this next window to return to being Milan the powerhouse rather than Milan the brand?
They sold a ton of players this year. I think they got rid of like 90% of their previous squad. I mean, it's insane. But I do agree with you that there is a master plan here. As in we're gonna make this club profitable at the very least. Which, a club that doesn't have debt in Italy, it's rare to come by. They all have debt. And that's why Napoli is having the success that is having right now, because we don't have any debt, so we can sign Højlund on a last minute thing when we need to. But like Inter tried to sign so many players this window, they just don't have the money to do it, and they're also tied to a fund that doesn't let them spend what they would like to spend. So it's all very tricky. But I do think that this year we got a good league in our hands. In this slide here, I wanted to show Lukaku. Just we all felt that way after the Napoli game. It was a crazy final goal by Anguissa. Juve and Roma also won 1-0, and it's classic Italian stuff. I mean, all the best teams, they all win 1-0 and then on to the next game. But I think when these teams will face each other, and mind you, there is Juve against Inter next round, I think that's going to be a good game. Because they're two teams that aren't really complete yet. And I think it's still really like important 3 points and like trying to figure out what's the pecking order this year and that's a big game. It's like Arsenal Liverpool being the third game of the year.
Who's coaching Inter this year?
Christian Kivu. So he was a former defender for Inter. He won the treble with Mourinho.
Romanian guy, right?
Romanian, yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't have much experience at all. I mean, he's only coached Parma last year for 12 games, and then he signed on to Inter. A lot of people in Italy are saying that it's a choice. It's a comfortable choice, so they can kind of dump on him whatever squad they can get this transfer window. And he's not Inzaghi, he's not Conte, he doesn't have the name to go in front of the media and say, look at what they've given me, this is and start a ruckus, so like I understand that it's definitely a safe choice management wise, but they already lost this week. We'll go back to that, but I don't know if you guys caught any of the highlights of this game. Inter was looking so comfortable and then just fell asleep. And they've done that a lot last year. And I think at this point is the mentality of these players is kind of fucked, to be honest.
I mean, they're probably gassed. They're probably gassed, right? They went deep in Champions. They've had title battles and Champions League battles for the past like
Club World Cup,
three
Club
years
World
straight.
Cup this summer. They have no time off, but
it's literally been like 3 years, right? Like where they've been in a title race and a UCL race, and now the Club World Cup, like back to back, like right, like people gas out. They're all old, like bro, like Acerbi was starting, bro.
Yeah.
Like what? Come on, bro. Like no slight to Acerbi, but like bro. Yeah, exactly. Mkhitaryan was playing, but like bro, like what are we doing?
It's classic in Italy.
Them.
If you don't have at least 2 40-year-olds, like you can't compete for the title. That's how.
Facts, but like 2 40-year-olds ain't going. They can't play every match. They can't play every match all season, all year round, 9 months, 10 months, 11 months out of the year. And like I think you're kind of seeing this, right?
And that goes back to Modric.
Yeah, that's why we signed Modric.
Yeah.
They should just be those players that just give experience and like they lend a helping hand. They shouldn't be a staple in the starting lineups.
Right.
I mean, does Inter have young is there youth on Inter that looks interesting
Yes.
or looks talented? Yeah.
Yes. They have a really, really interesting striker this year. His name is Pio Esposito. A lot of people in Italy have been hyping him up. He did not perform yesterday. No, that's Lorenzo Luca, I think you're talking about. That's the guy that Napoli signed. But Pio Esposito is also a big boy, but not, like Luca is like 6'7". He's massive.
Yeah.
But I've been playing this little game every time I watch Inter, and this is this is called Football Hangover, and if you the fastest way to get drunk is to watch an Inter game and take a shot every time they show DeMarco's ball spot. I think you just get obliterated, but
Yeah, I mean, he also seems to be getting caught from behind a lot these days. Right,
he's an old fellow too.
This was my bald go. This was my bald go for a cool minute.
Yeah, this guy always losing, never Leverkusen. I mean, this guy's definitely feels like he's always losing. Since that crazy run with Ajax in the Champions League, he has not showed anything. I was amazed that he even got this job in the first place. In the last podcast, we were all
I could not
concerned.
believe that. When I saw that he was Leverkusen head coach, I thought, what are they doing? This is going to backfire immediately.
Yeah. I had my criticism of Ten Hag, but I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Way too early. I loved in his little statement following his firing from Leverkusen, he's mentioning how like he felt disappointed and he feels regretful, this and that. And then he's like, every team that I've coached, like we found success and we've won silverware. And I'm just like, that's right. EFL Cup and FA Cup with United. Let's go.
Yeah.
But like you could tell, like he was so fucking butthurt about his dismissal from Leverkusen. I can't blame him. I'm like, I'd crash out too.
He seems like a difficult guy. From all of the times he would get caught on camera at United, he seemed like a difficult guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it also sounded like he lost the locker room at Leverkusen.
Oh,
and how do you lose the locker room in 4 weeks on the job?
Yeah.
Well, you can definitely tell with this last game that they played was they got I think they were leading 3-1.
And the opposing team had a man down.
Yes, man down for Werder Bremen. And in 10 minutes,
get cleaned out, though?
They got cleaned out, but it's like Werder Bremen, bro, is fighting for relegation this year in the Bundes. They just signed Victor Boniface this
on loan. Werder Bremen did
this last hour of the transfer market.
No way.
Wait, really?
Bro, I rate Boniface, bro. I want him to ball out, bro. I like Boniface.
And he's at Bremen though?
He's at Bremen now. Yeah, I think it's on loan, but
what happened to him at Leverkusen?
He got hurt a bunch. He had back-to-back leg injuries. And
they need him.
sat all year.
They're letting this guy go, and they're going to depend on Patrick Schick.
Well, Patrick Schick, I think last year he was scoring goals for fun. I mean, he was he can produce. I don't think the problem is Schick. I think the problem is that they just got rid of Piero Hincapié, the center back, going to Arsenal. It's just they're Frimpong, Verts. I mean, they're losing very pivotal.
They got rated.
Yeah, Adley also went to Bournemouth.
I mean, they picked up some talent though, right? Like they got Kwanzaa off of Liverpool. They got Tillman off of PSV. Like they got, but it's like it's a new team, and we've already seen that Ten Hag is not the person that you want in charge of a team that doesn't have a direction, or needs direction, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they just were like, nah, bro, we're not playing this shit, and then it's if you lose the locker room 2 weeks in, bro, why wait? You shouldn't have signed him. That's hired him. That's fine. But why sink half your season into someone that you already can see is it's not turning around. I can read the room here. You all saw the same shit at United. Cool, bad hiring in the first place, but like actually props to y'all for getting him out of there sooner rather than later, because like
They have to.
Yeah.
They have to play
I think
Champions
it's
League
wise.
football in 2 weeks, you know.
Yeah, I
Champions
think
League
it's
is
wise on
if you
Leverkusen's
think the
part, yeah.
Bundesliga is unforgiving, you go to the Champions League doing this shit, you're gonna lose like 8-0. You're gonna
And
be
also, like,
embarrassed.
I feel like Leverkusen has hella hype because, you know, they went undefeated 2 years ago and like came out of nowhere, like all this shit. But like they're not a bit, like they're a good team. They're a good organization, but they're not like a big team. You know what I mean?
No.
Has Mourinho ever managed in the Bundesliga?
No.
Picture that.
No.
Picture that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a great way to, you know. That's just a good thing to put your young players through.
I bet that little Portuguese weasel will figure something out for himself, though he always does.
100%.
Who would you? Earlier, you guys all chose Drogba, you know, but now things get hard. Robin, Ribéry. Who do you pick it? Ribéry.
Ribéry was the better player.
Whoa.
Or the more, Ribéry is the more complete player.
For a country as well? Because I feel like Robin had a better career in the Netherlands team.
Yeah, but Ribéry had fucking Deschamps coaching his whole fucking career.
Yeah, he had him working like a right back, you know. Had him
you know what I mean? Like they didn't do
left back.
France didn't do him any favors. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I would pick Robin for this Napoli team. Like, you know, I'm getting rid of Polidano. I'm putting Robin in there.
Sure.
Also,
no, I think Ribéry is just a more complete player. Like again, like right, like Robin was great, and no slight to Robin. Great at doing a couple things, like right, like you knew it was coming, and he was still gonna do it to you. Ribéry could hit you in multiple ways.
Yeah.
And cover multiple roles and covered more of the pitch and was better, like more, like he wasn't a defender like that, but he could play, you know, he was a little bit more defense there. Like, I don't know, for your team, like Robin, you need that side of the field covered for Robin to be successful. You put Ribéry on it, you could drop him in most teams and it'll work out well.
Yeah, we would need Ribéry in our team right now.
Yeah, you would need both.
Team?
We need both, but
yeah,
you couldn't play Robin on United now right now. Like, where are you gonna play on? Like wing back? You know what I mean?
The formation in Man U is confusing me.
Yeah,
you know? It's like this. You know, I'm like, how are you gonna do anything like with this shape? You know?
Yeah, you're asking a lot out of your two, you know, wing back, left, right, mid, wide mids there, and they don't have those players. They don't have those players. Like Diallo maybe, but like who's on the other side?
Yeah.
Do you guys watch the Sounders Miami game? I didn't personally, but I did watch the fight. I liked, you know.
Did he bite anybody?
He spit on the coach.
He didn't, but he.
Yeah, he spit on the coach. It's not a great look. Suarez
has been there before.
It's hard because I like Suarez. Like
as a player.
As a player and as Suarez away from the pitch. I think Suarez on the pitch, not his skills, but Suarez, the person on the pitch, is a shitty person. We've seen that time and time again. But it seems when you get him away from the pitch, there's a humanable, tangible person that has great relationships with fans, like good relationship with other players. People seem to like, but he just does questionable decisions when he steps onto the grass.
I respect that he wants to win at all costs, and he's shown that in his career. I respect any player that wants. Yeah, to me that's genius. Yeah, I respect that. That's genius.
Sure,
You're like, I'm willing to miss a game. I didn't
miss the penalty, but
yeah.
But the funniest thing was the clip where he's about to bite a player, and then he realizes it's his teammate, and he pulls out of the bite.
Yep. There's a good ESPN article where the dude tried to find out, like, was he always like this? He like went to Uruguay and like tried to find out, was this always a thing? Because like there was like a rumor that he punched a ref in the face in like youth league or something like that. I'll find it after this. I'll send it to you, Mateo. You could share it around. It's pretty interesting. I mean, it's basically like, you know, like you have a dude who like this has been the only way out for him for his entire year his entire life, and like his like they talk about his like growing up, like his wife, like they've been dating since they were kids, and she like moved to Spain, and like he like knew that like the only way for him to do that was through football, and like all like just all this shit, like so I don't know, man. I don't want to like Suarez. I think what he did at Grêmio is really sick. Like going back to Brazil and like at dummy old and balling out there was sick. Like the Miami shit is whatever at this point. But him spitting on coaches, yeah, you don't want that. That's never a good look at all.
No, people were trading Messi jerseys for the Rothrock.
That's
jersey.
crazy.
Like but the genius here, Americans. This is why I live in this country, because the people here have a different side, a different mindset of looking at everything. In Europe, this would never. They're like, oh, give us a jersey from the team we just played, and we will give you one of ours for free. That's some American shit. And like the fact that you have a line out the door for these people to like take off their Messi kit and pick up this kid from Seattle's jersey, it's surreal. Yeah. Like what are we witnessing? Like that's insane.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, here's my thing, bro. Like, and I think you with sports in general in the U.S. is very interesting, right? Like we don't have the same sort of community politics around sports that like pretty much, especially around soccer, that pretty much everywhere else in the world has, right? Like, cool, like you're a Napoli fan because like you're born and raised in Napoli, and like right, like I'm sure there's one or two clubs you could support. Like that's it, right? It's like Napoli or whatever.
I never had a choice. I don't have any recollection of choosing this for myself.
That's what I'm saying. Like right, like when I lived in Brazil, like my friends were like, "Oh, I'm a Corinthians fan because like like this is what it is," or it's like I'm a Corinthians fan and one other fan because like I grew up going to this sporting club and that they had a team and they were whatever, and then like I was a Corinthians fan also, like, but like, and then you stick with it, right? Like American, even in other pro sports in America, like minus maybe American football, like people are front runners, bro, and we like players over anything, you know what I mean? Like, which I think is really beautiful. I think there's something to be said about like, yo, like, you know,
interesting, yeah.
Supporting the player and all that, and like following like, oh, I wanted to see a good match, like sick, and shit. Props to Seattle, you know, running the bag up, free marketing, all that fun stuff. Like, and it's not like these people were like Miami fans in the first place. Right? Like they have Messi jerseys.
No,
like,
no, of course not.
They were Messi fans, you know. And really, they were like, "Yo,
business
like
model for the MLS.
Yeah.
Like if we bring X player, you'll become a fan of this team, and that's been that way since its inception. You know.
Yep.
Pelé came and played in you know before MLS and for the Cosmos, you know, and drew a lot of people in, and that was like I think you have to remember that there was a time in the United States where there wasn't, you know, this like long-standing tradition of being a football soccer fan, you know, and they actually had to cultivate interest in the sport. Mm-hmm. But it's disappointing that is still the tactic that's being used to this day, because I just don't see progress in that way, and I don't see an organic way of developing a relationship with a team, like you were saying, on a, you know, a geopolitical, you know, like this is my team, my home team, this represents our city or our town or something, you know, like a lot of these smaller clubs in England or anywhere in Europe, you know, the club is what the town or the small city rallies around. It's like their identity, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, like what's the equivalent to most people's relationship with football globally is like how Americans feel about college football. Right, like that's kind of the equivalency for like, yo, you're a fan of a Serie B team, like it's the same as liking, you know what I mean, whatever college town that you went to, or like you have an emotional relationship to this club. So like I think like with most MLS teams, because they're founded as businesses first, and the league is a like conglomerate rather than being individual organizations trying to progress up and move around in the league. Similar, like right, like it's the same thing with the NBA or the NFL, right? It's like it's a closed group where they do revenue sharing, all that stuff, like. The teams that build local relationships with their fans tend to be teams in USL or other leagues, because they just have to have a more grassroots oriented approach. And like MLS teams never had that, and like will not have that, because they don't need to have that, because they can make money with or without ticket sales because of revenue sharing. Like right, like if Miami's doing well, right, like Nashville or fucking Kansas City or San Diego or any of the other teams are getting a cut of that. So they don't really, all right, cool, you're not a Wave fan. Like, yeah, it'd be sick if you were, but like, I'm still going to eat off the league being big, you know? And like
the main concern is to try to get people to even come to the stadium in the US. It's not even like, oh, I'm building fanship for life. It's just like I even just want you to come once, please. I beg you, come to the stadium once.
But it's you have to understand, like, you know, a friend of mine was a season tickets holder at Earthquake Stadium, at San Jose Earthquakes, and I went for a couple seasons in a row because his wife didn't want to go anymore.
Sure.
Because they sucked, and they've sucked for a long time. And we went every week to, drove over the hill from Santa Cruz to San Jose and showed up for the games, wearing our Quakes gear. And I grew up, that being my local team. And so I always kind of supported them and was involved. And I was going to their old stadium before they moved to Avaya. And so I know the culture there, and it's painful. It was painful to show up every week and see them lose. And the atmosphere in the stadium, in this huge brand new stadium that's supposed to be this exciting thing, it sucked, and the team sucked, the coach sucked, the fans, there's a group of ultras that support them through thick and thin, but the whole vibe sucked,
Yeah,
and
but it's San
a lot of
Jose.
these, exactly, but there are other teams in the league that don't have a real strong support base and have a real strong team and don't have money like other teams, and it confuses me why these teams are still in the league, other than to support, yes, money, but then also you have to have a league so that you can support your marketable teams like Miami or LAFC or something.
Right.
And it just feels like they're just there as like a placeholder, and they haven't performed in like 10 years, and I don't want to have anything to do with them,
Sure.
I think the shameful
again,
part is that
go for it.
there is also no relegation. So like you are losing every week, and it doesn't matter. That's me. That's what's insane.
This league will forever be stunted if they don't change the format.
Right.
I mean, they could even have a top division, 2 tiers. There's enough teams that they could split it into 2, and there could be more to play for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but financially, the owners that are getting shafted, or the owners that are getting demoted, are getting a short end of the stick there. So why would they change it? I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
Of course not.
I'm just from a business, like from a league
Yeah,
perspective.
it doesn't make sense from a business standpoint for that to be
but like
the move.
that would never happen.
I understand that.
Unfortunately, that's just problematic, right? Like, can you see the same issue right now? I don't know if you know how it's structured, but like in Mexican football, they got rid of relegation like 2 or 3 years ago, and like they're starting to have the same issues where it's like they're getting a really top heavy league, and the bottom tier clubs don't give a fuck. Like, just don't give a fuck, because they don't have to, because they can get money every year. They get a check from the league that says, cool, keep your team going, right? Like, and also they have the weird like opening, closing clausura shit. Like, I hate that like league structure, whatever. But like, no relegation actually hurts the greater interest in your league, because it doesn't allow people to form there's no reason for you to form a relationship with a local club if your local club is capped at this, right? Like, cool, like, right, like, I can be a Roots fan. I like the Roots. That's sick. Like, right, like, I think there's some good things about the Roots. I think there's some bad things about the Roots, right? But like, it is detrimental that like they can never make it to the MLS, right? Because like ultimately, right, like I'm never gonna see them play on the main stage. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like, if I was a fan of football in the US, right, like I'm going to immediately pick a team that, or your chances are you're going to pick a team that plays in the top league, right? And like, to be frank, like I used to live in Seattle. I went to school up there. I've been to a good amount of Sounders matches. I have a lot of friends that have really strong relationships with the club. Like, one thing that Sounders and Timbers even to this point like have done is like they've been really integral about trying to get involved in the community and build strong support for their fan clubs and the team on a grassroots level. Like, right, like they had my friend roll out the jersey for last year, like, who's like a creative, like did a bunch of stuff, like has been around Seattle for years. He's from there, like all this stuff, like. And they do a really good job about engaging, and have done this for a long time, about engaging with the community at the ground level and trying to foster those relationships, right? Like the Earthquakes don't care about that, right? Like, and part of that is like there's an issue with them being in San Jose, with their majority of their fan base being transplants, and like, to be frank, probably not living in San Jose long term, right? So like, why would you build this relationship with a club if you're not going to be here?
Point.
You know what I mean? Like.
I've always been confused why they represent specifically San Jose when there's no other MLS club in the greater area.
Because that's
they could be repping the whole Bay area.
No, I definitely agree with that, right? Like, but like because they could buy tickets, you know what I mean? Like right, and then also like ownership group, all of this stuff, like, right, like there's cool. We're gonna make San Jose this big thing. San Jose has their little like inferiority complex on a Bay Area standpoint, right? Where they're like, we're the biggest city and probably the biggest economy, but like no one gives a shit about us. So I get all that, but like at the end of the day, right, like. The biggest issue is that, like, your local fan base, like, is a bunch of people who don't care about your city. So why would they care about your club? Right? Like, the local community isn't particularly engaged. So how are they going to be engaged with something local in the first place? And that's not a slight to everyone in San Jose, but I just think there's a large majority, and the people who can afford to buy tickets for it, like, are people who work in an industry that doesn't entice them to engage with the city on a community level, on like a grassroots
Yesterday,
level.
It feels like purely entertainment.
the tickets
yeah,
to
I mean,
the
it is.
game, the tickets to the game yesterday were insanely unaffordable. You could buy season tickets for most clubs in Europe
Yeah.
with what you pay to watch a game. With all
Of
due
Messi.
respect, like, yeah, it's just messy. You're just buying it for one guy who did not perform yesterday. So you're also just like, okay, I get it. You want to see your hero. I've never seen Messi play. I would love to get a chance, but it's also like, not like this. Like, how is this worth any value?
Yeah, I mean, Messi is but we saw that 2 years ago when he came, right? Like, it's the whole league,
Right.
the whole Miami business model is cool. Like, he's going to be the most expensive ticket in the league everywhere he goes, and dope. Like, run that up. And, like, what else are you going to do about it, right? Like, what you can hope is that you can go get a player that brings either, like, puts butts in the seats, like, right? Like, it makes a lot of sense that LAFC got Son, like, right? Like, with the biggest Korean population outside of Korea, right? Like,
Right.
makes a whole lot of sense, right?
No,
Like,
they're making
you know what I mean?
these signings like it's incredible because it's purely like, I feel like they're entering into ChatGPT and they're like, this is our demographic. Who do we sign? Oh, Human Son.
They are.
Okay, perfect.
Right, like,
get it.
because like right, like again, like right, the MLS is a marketing experiment first. Or is a
it's
brand first.
But like the football in everything we've talked about, football is never a factor.
100% agree.
That's what's
100% agree.
incredible. It's like we've gone through this whole thing, we analyze it, football and never a factor in all of this. And we're here for the sport. I'm here because I love that ball. Like, I
that's why you're a Roots
I
fan.
don't give a fuck who plays for my club. I would love my club to the day I die. And my kids will do it. My grandkids will do it. My wife is starting to. My mom does. Everyone that I know, even my friends that are American that never been to Napoli, they know me, they fuck with Napoli because they can see the passion that I have for it. You could never, you can never make this artificially. You can never sit down at a table and be like, let's create this feeling in people. Like your fucking Coca-Cola with the polar bears. Like, that's not how this shit works.
But right, like, how is, like, again, like, it comes down to the community aspect, right? Like, Napoli, I'm sure, was started by 11 dudes who wanted to play fucking football on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, right? Like, that's not how.
It's always
fucking Earthquakes were started, right? Like, that's not how Inter Miami was started. That's not how Sounders was started. Actually, Sounders was started like that, but right, that's not how a majority of these clubs were started, right? And so, like, that's what makes the difference between Roots and, say, Earthquakes, right? It's like Roots at least position themselves as, hey, we're involved with the Oakland community. Like, I'm not going to speak. I don't know them well, so I'm not going to speak on it like that. But like, they position themselves as like, we are very integrated in the Oakland community. We want to represent Oakland. We care about the people, our fans, and all of this stuff. Like, our experience with the fan is separate from the product that we put on the field. Like, right, like, as a club, like, we need to engage these people who are in the neighborhood, who are in, like, we need to do all these things, right? Like, in order to build a successful organization. And also, like, that's separate from running a team, right? Like, right, like, and Roots the club, and like, again, I think this happens with a lot of sporting clubs globally, right? It's like all of these teams now, like, if it's Sporting, if it's Benfica, if it's Chelsea, if it's Napoli, if it's Inter, if it's Corinthians, if it's whatever, right? Like, they aren't just a football team, right? Like, they are a sporting club where you go to the gym, or now, like, go to the gym, or all the things. They are community organizations, community hubs first, and then also they field the team that plays in the top tier. Right, but like, that's why someone would be a fan of a Serie B team or whatever, you know what I mean, like, or a championship team or whatever, is because like that team doesn't represent, oh, we're nice. It represents, oh, I'm from here, right? Like, it's why the Wrexham thing blew the fuck up, right? Like, that's why they viewed the Wrexham thing as a really good business model or a business acquisition, because like, oh, we have this team that has hella history that like also has a baked in
at the time.
Yeah, like has a baked in fan base and a good story, right? Like, we can do something with that.
But see how this is. Thank you for bringing Wrexham up, because I think that's a really interesting experiment on American minds, because people watch that show, and I've met people in the US that have never watched a game of football. They know about Wrexham. They know about what they're doing over there, and they're like, oh, if I was to support anyone, I'd support Wrexham. Bro, what? Like, you make a show, like, the story is great, but it's just like, to a European mind, it's like, what? Like, you watch one show and like, now you're
But that's why you support Napoli, right? Like, you don't support Napoli for them being good or bad. Like, that's sick. But, like, you support Napoli for the fact that everyone around you supports it, and you have a relationship, and you can tell the stories of, like, oh, yeah, this year we sucked, but, like, do you remember this crazy-ass moment or whatever? And, like, yeah, it's the emotional connection to the club rather than the product on the pitch. It matters, but, like,
I think it's cool that they're presenting that, in the show, and they're showing people what it means to be connected to a football club in a genuine way, not in the American way that we're talking about, in a way that is authentic and is deeper, is multi-generational, it's geographical. And there was also the Sunderland documentary on Netflix, and I thought that was really interesting and entertaining, but didn't have the same, like, personable storyline as much as it did in the Wrexham show. But so I think I kind of fuck with the Wrexham for that reason, just to kind of demonstrate that to people.
I think it's really interesting. They're about to do it again too, right? Like, they're doing the Nakaza one with Eva Longoria, and I think that's going to perform significantly worse, like, just objectively, right? Because, like, I think they're aiming for a Latino market to buy into to a league that, like, again, doesn't have relegation. Like, you have these stories, but then you're going to start to really witness how corrupt Mexican football is. That shit is fucked up, right? Like, some, like, 4 of the clubs are owned by one person, right? Yeah. Some crazy like that, right? Like, and, like, they don't really care about player development. Like, they just kind of, like, they just don't really care. Like, it's like a really
had
weird
a great starting point. Like, unlike the United States, they have organic fan base. They have all the cards, like, stacked in their favor, but then it's like their mind got poisoned a little bit about what their neighbors are doing, what the MLS is doing. They're like, that's a nice check, like, let me get that. And then obviously mixing that with the corruption is like they're going hand in hand, and they're like, yep, we ruined Mexican football. And the national team is the epitome of that. I mean, look, like, when is Mexico being this bad? Yeah,
play all your games in the U.S., right? Like, you can sell more tickets, you can make more money playing in the U.S. Just play them all there. How does that make sense? Like, right? Like, how does that, like, bro? Imagine if you played all of your, like, if Italy played all their matches in, like, Brazil and the East Coast.
They might.
You know what I mean?
They might start at the rate the Italian national team is going. I'm telling you, no one wants to go watch that shit. So they better. This is my not a lot of people watch this podcast, but I have one simple solution. Take the Italian national team and make them play in New Jersey every game. The fan base, bro. These people are so patriotic. We don't give a fuck. I mean, honestly, we're proud of our team, whatever. But it's like I care about what Napoli does. I don't care about what the national team does.
Yeah.
Go to Jersey. These people think that that's life or death to them. Like, make them play in Jersey.
Bringing it back to supporting Napoli. Is your identity is with Napoli, more than with Italy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Within Italy, same thing, like supporting Barcelona is political if you're from Barcelona, their own identity, same thing with teams from Basque region of Spain, like there's all these nuances, and in the United States, it's unclear who even also, the Earthquakes represent. It's always been like, I don't even get like what's going on in San Jose, and they're trying to rep San Jose, I'm like, how can I get behind that,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, to put to that point also, right, like the identity issue with the Italian national team is a whole other thing, right? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Matteo, the Italian identity is a relatively new inception, right? Like, you view yourself as a Neapolitan before you view yourself as Italian any day of the week. I mean, you have an Italian passport, but like you're Neapolitan, right? Like Milano people would say the same thing, or like people from the like Sicilians would say the same thing. But like in the U.S. or in Brazil or in these other places, right? Like people have adopted the Italian identity because people don't know. Say, for example, like, oh yeah, like I'm like Neapolitan or whatever, because of immigration, because of being cut off from all these things and the way that the identity was formed, right? So I don't know. I think there's like the identity issue around and community issue. Hit me, Matteo, before I finish that off.
I think as a country we're past that point now with our generation, but whole new factors come into play. Now there is African immigrants that come into the country, and Balotelli was the first of his generation, got the bad luck of that because an amazing player got bombarded with racial shit because but his whole life he's been in Italy. He doesn't have a country to go back to. I mean, we're very familiar with that kind of speech in the United States, but in Italy it's just like there's this polarity of like people are either like incredibly well integrated where you don't even notice that they're from a different race than you, because we don't have all of the past that the US has with navigating those relationships. But then we have the polar opposite of like, oh, I don't want black players playing my national team. It's like, what? Like, dude, like it's every other country on earth is this way. Like how?
From my experiences going to Italy, I've been to Milan and Rome and one other place, Venice and one other place. But I feel like Italy is particularly xenophobic, especially because of the whole idea of like your regional identity means so much, right? Like you actually might hate Milano some type of way, right? Like not actually, but like, you know what I mean? Like
I mean, I do. I'm not shy to say, I'm not shying away from the fact that I dislike Milan for many reasons.
And
but
that's the thing is that I'm not saying it's not a problem, but like when you have I'll let you finish, but let me just get this point off because I have it in my head. Like, right, like when you have a direct differentiator, right? Like in the sense that like, yo, like Balotelli looks different and he's like very different. Like, right, he's I can identify him from a distance. All right, he's different. Like it becomes an easier way to like the xenophobia turns into racism, right? Like because I think you have and I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying like, oh, it's all okay. Like it's xenophobia first. No. None of that shit is good. But I do think that there is that actual additional kind of thing that's going on where it's like, not only you have a population of people that are already somewhat or prone to xenophobia because they are so regionalist. Like the regional identity was so strong until X, Y, and Z period. I
agree. I mean, it's definitely like a hard thing to like sum up, but like I think this whole thing definitely wraps into football in an interesting way. Dynamics between clubs and now the national team, because the national team has always been stellar. Like we have 4 World Cup. I mean, we've always made it deep into, and like we've never had to argue over the national team that much. We're like, I mean, it's great, whatever. We all took it for granted. My little sister, she's 14. She's never seen a game of Italy in the World Cup. That's crazy. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's insane. Yeah. And that's why now the cat's out of the bag, and we're talking about this shit as if it was some macro problem. But it's like, it was never there before when we were winning. It's the same with Germany and France. Like Germany, on a good day that they win a title, they're like, oh, great, we're all German. They lose, oh, fuck Ozil, he's Turkish. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, where was that when they won the fucking World Cup? Where was that? So it's,
it was still there. They just were winning, right? Like,
no, where was the sentiment there? Is like,
it was still there. It was still there, but they were just winning, right? Like,
exactly.
Up by the fact that they got the trophy. So all right, fuck it, whatever.
Exactly. So it's easy to criticize, I guess, when a team is losing. You're like, pointing the finger, like, oh, it's because of this guy, that guy. But it's like, we're all Italian, and we will be back. We will. I mean, we won the Euros fucking 5 years ago. Yeah. I don't take that for granted. Like, that was a crazy, huge, massive achievement to win the Euros in London against England. What title can they talk about? They won a World Cup in 66, and we're over here like commiserating. We have the cabinets full. We'll be back. I'm hopeful. But
trust.
I just wanted to jump.
Should we talk about transfers?
Do it.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump into transfers. We were way over time, but I mean there is no cap. But
hit it.
I've enjoyed the conversation.
Is that Randall?
Too. That is Randall Colomwani holding a Tottenham shirt. I'm excited about this guy at Tottenham. I think the Prem will suit him well.
Spurs look good.
Yeah, we didn't really touch on Spurs earlier when we were talking about Premier League top 4, but I think Thomas Frank is the right guy, and I think they have some good signings.
Yes,
Spurs look great. Frank, Kudus, fucking Simmons, Polina back, RKM. They look good, bro.
They're not a good back line.
They got
Vicario is a beast.
Yeah, Van de Ven's a beast. Like, right, like they got They got players,
Oh
bro.
my God, wait.
Jed Spence
Pause.
is pretty good as well.
Yeah, I like Jed
Pause.
Spence. Jed Spence is nice. What's that?
Vanderberg is I'm a huge fan. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Van de
this
Ven.
guy is he's
Yeah.
slept on a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
No, he was
I-
injured a lot of last season.
He's
but
injured again
when he
this
was
season.
fit,
yeah.
yeah. But when he's fit, he's a real beast. Also in an attacking sense, he can attack. I mean,
Great
he had this
sense
one
in the box.
assist last season that was just like insane. You know, where he just ran across the pitch.
Yeah.
And
It's
later
kind of
reminds me
like
of
a
David Luiz.
Calafiori-esque attacking
Yeah.
sense.
He reminds me of David Luiz a lot.
Yeah.
In the way that he's a much better defender than David Luiz was.
Right.
But in the way that he gets forward and like it's just his willingness to get forward. He's a lot faster than David Luiz was too, so he can get back. But in his willingness to get forward and his attacking sense and knowing that and timing it, man, like sometimes like why are you in the? Oh, that's why. Like
I think
that's
he's
why
one of the
that's why
fastest
you're in the box.
players in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
Then we
6'4".
have. Do you think Jadon Sancho is gonna save Villa's season?
Save no, but he's a good player. He played well at Chelsea. He just wanted too much money. We would have I would have taken Sancho over Jamie Gittins. Jamie Gittins is not going to do shit for Chelsea, bro. He's not going to do shit for Chelsea. Jamie Gittins is not good, bro. Heard it here first, bro. Gittins is not good, bro. He just wanted Sancho was just broken by the Man U wage structure. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Angel. That's y'all fault, right? But,
Oh, I know. Yeah.
like, why are y'all paying him whatever $250 a week for what? You know what I mean? And cool. Yeah, he's a good player. There's a good player there. We saw it. Is there a great player there? No, but there's a good player.
He'll have his moments, but he's not going to be like star man, game changer.
Also, if he's not paid like the star man, he's not going to have it in his head that he's the star man. Like, right? Like, if you pay him like he's the guy, like, and, then you have this issue where he has to be the guy in his head. That's the Garnacho problem, right? Like, if you tell him he's the guy, like, then he's going to think he's the guy. Like, but if you don't tell him that, like, then okay, cool. Like, he will shut the fuck up and chill out. Like, I don't want him. I don't rate Garnacho, but
Harvey Elliott on loan.
That's right. They did
Yeah.
from Liverpool.
Yes.
great pickup. Great pickup.
That's a good signing, I think.
Good pickup.
So, what are we rating this Garnacho transfer out of 10?
4 out of 10.
I was also gonna say 4.
Angel, you
I
can go
don't hate
first.
it, but-
I have thoughts, Angel. So Angel, go first. I have thoughts. Oh, you're United, so like I don't know. We both have thoughts.
I mean, I'm out of 10. Like, I don't know.
How much did you
because,
get for him? How much did you get?
40
in the
million
bank for him?
pounds.
He was
Something like that.
Okay,
we got 40 million
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
for an academy, and especially because he came up from the academy. Like it's.
So
But at the
from a
same
Man U
time,
perspective-
I'm just disappointed how all this shit turned out. Because I was like, this is an academy graduate. This kid, like, he's not like super fucking world class right now, but he definitely has that potential. Just keeps his head down, works hard. I was really looking forward to just seeing him become like one of those United graduates, like your Rashfords, that came up through the academy and like just stayed on the team. So to see this shit, I'm just like. But at the same time, like, the shit behind the scenes, like, with, the fucking leaking information and stuff and whatnot, I'm just like, come on now. So, I guess as someone that was, like, I don't know. I guess, like, a 4 out of 10, I guess, as well. 3 out of 10. I'm just, like, disappointed. But time to move on, I guess.
I would say I'm not excited to have Garnacho play for Chelsea. I think there's a player that has some skills there. Like, right, like there's a good winger there. I don't think he's the guy. His finishing is suspect.
Yeah, no,
his finishing is suspect. He's had some great goals, but his finishing is suspect. But there's a good winger there.
His decision making is suspect.
Did you guys see the meme that it was an unnamed Chelsea player has told Enzo Maresca that they'd rather light their ball sack on fire than play with Garnacho?
Yeah. I mean, so here, if Maresca can keep him together in the locker room and like not like, right, like again, like mind you, he had to play under fucking Ten Hag, who's clearly not good with youth, right? Like, and then Amorim, who didn't want to play him, right? So like, there's the whole behind the scenes aspect, right? He's also a kid from Argentina who like had hella hype after balling out in the World Cup. You know what I mean? Like, there's all of these other factors, right? Like, if they can keep the ego in check at Chelsea, there's a good player there. 40 million for Garnacho is not that much money given the state of the market right now. And if they can't keep him together, it's Chelsea. They're going to sell him for a profit. Yeah. So,
Maybe.
like at the end of the day, right? Like we've seen Chelsea time. Like, bro, like how the hell did they just pull more money from Bayern for Nick Jackson? not really talking about that right now, but like they will
Yeah.
sell him for a profit in 2 years if it doesn't work. Next year if it doesn't work.
I
I'm
just see
excited.
him as a player that has an ego that's way
Sure.
larger than what he's ever shown on
Sure.
the pitch, and he's definitely capable of brilliance and has a potential. Like, he's still a young player and he still has a lot of potential. But if I'm a club, you know, like Liverpool would never sign a guy like that, where you're like, his mentality seems, you know, like,
I mean,
This kid idolizes Ronaldo, and it shows.
yeah.
It fucking shows.
Yeah. Again, ego. If they can keep the ego in check, like Chelsea is a good thing going in the locker room. I would hate to see this ruin it. I think there's one benefit is that, right, like they have Fernandes, so they're national team teammates. So Fernandes will put him in his place if Fernandes sees him. Hopefully, knock on wood, Fernandes has his own set of issues, right?
Yeah.
Like that again come from balling out in the World Cup and then playing at Chelsea and being, you know, one of the biggest transfer of all time, whatever, all that. If they can keep the locker room together aspect of it, there's a good player there. Chelsea needs help on the wings. It's not the worst signing in the world in terms of a winger. I would have liked to see other players. You know what I mean? Like there's other wingers on the market that I think were more interesting and intriguing. And I don't want
like
Man U
Madueke.
rejects.
They had Madueke. I feel
Yeah,
like
but
they
they
just
need-
got
this
this.
is-
And I'm like,
this is
why
exactly
are you selling
why-
Madueke and picking
because
up
they had-
Garnacho?
They had to clear up space for UCL, right? Like there's all these financial levers that this shit is dumb. Like I don't agree with this shit. Like there's the dumb financial business aspects of Chelsea that are going on, which is like cool.
But if you
They
put
needed-
yourself in that position, that's an L, you know? Like,
Facts.
you're ending up with arguably a worse player, you know, and you're still spending money. And I guess you have to balance your books. But the links that they've had this transfer window with all these different players has
Sure.
been crazy and totally unhinged, you know?
Sure. I fully agree. Like I'm not gonna sit here and defend the Chelsea strategy. Or transfer strategy. All I will say is in some way, shape, or form is clearly working. And secondarily, in some way, shape, or form, they are able to sell players when they need to get sold. So I'm not too worried about the back end,
Nkunku
like
to Milano.
yeah, like players that like, bro, they didn't turn a profit in Nkunku, but they got out on a player who never played for them, right? Like Nkunku did look awful and got hurt, and they somehow got their money back, right? Like, mind you, he was the best player in the Bundesliga the year they got him. Sick, it's tight, right? Like, but immediately there's so much shit changed, right? Like
But
again,
there was never a team that he fit in, you know? And that's kind of like, why did they even buy him, you know?
yeah, exactly, right? Like, because he was the best player in the Bundesliga.
He wasn't playing in the right position, you know?
Right.
They
Like,
switched
it was,
managers.
you know,
They
It was
switched
a
managers when they
classic-
brought him in.
I think every chip fell into place to buy Nkunku at the time, and it was like we'll fit him in somewhere, but it's like
Yeah.
I think teams gotta
that
stop
just seems
doing
like
that
their
shit.
strategy, you know?
You know.
I think they're doing better though. I think
mean-
they're doing a lot better in the past three windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
Obviously,
agree. I
but
agree.
obviously Caicedo and Enzo were brilliant buys, but look at
Yeah.
what they cost. You know, look at the price tag. It reflects their ability. You know, and Palmer was the other, you know, stroke of genius where we were all like, really? This Palmer, you know, 30, 40 million? And look at where they're at now. So it's working sometimes.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, right, like in some way, shape, or form, like Palmer and Garnacho are in the same situation, right? Like Garnacho's not getting play. Like I think there's off the field things with Garnacho, but like Garnacho's not getting play time at Man U, and they're spending 40 million pounds on that same type of player, right? Like here's a guy who's shown some brilliance. We don't know what's going on, right? Like I'm happy. This year for Chelsea, we got a lot of new players that are actually interesting. Like João Pedro, I rate highly. Esteban, I rate highly. Delap, it's going to be nice to have someone that can fucking finish up top. I like Nicholas Jackson in some way, shape, or form. I'm sad to see him go. I don't know what the fuck they did right there, where they pulled him back and then sold him right back to Munich. That was some crazy ass. That's the craziest business I've seen in my life. They got. I don't know. Did you guys see this?
Wait, so he's now actually gone now?
No. I'll break this shit down because it's wild.
This is Nicholas Jackson right here. It was the
What?
first. It was the first post by Fabrizio Romano that says, "Here we go again."
So no. Peep game. Can't sell Jackson all window. Well, Jackson says he wants to get sold, right? Like he was training with the first team. Jackson says, "Hey, you're not going to start me. I don't want to compete for the striker role. I don't want to end up in the third string. Cool. I want out." Fine. Chelsea says you can go. Sick. They look for a deal. They want to sell him. Like they wanted a permanent deal. No one wants to take him on a permanent deal. The Newcastle stuff was kind of the Newcastle East stuff put the whole market in a weird place. Okay. They fought 2 days ago. They figured out a way to get him to Bayern Munich on like a 15 million pound loan with an obligation to buy, but really it's an option to buy because it's like, oh, he has to play some high amount of games. Mind you, 15 million pounds is the third or fourth highest loan fee of all time. And then Delap got hurt that same day, so they canceled the deal. Said he was in Bayern, about to sign the papers. Said, come back. He's like, bruh, I'm not coming back. Which, I kind of get that from a player standpoint. Like, you're a contracted player, you're gonna have to do what they say. But like, I also get like, bro, you just told me I said I wanted to go, you found me a way out, and now you're calling me back. What the fuck is that? Like, heard. They bring him back. Something happens in 24 hours that they turn around and loan him for a 18 million pound fee, an 18 million pound fee back to Bayern. So in that process, they made 3 million pounds and a higher back end option price for him to go to Bayern.
Right. And I think what they did was they recalled Mark
Gill
from Sunderland, which then gave him
solved the problem. Yeah. Which my question is, how did they make money in the process? Like, where did that extra 2 million pounds come from? Like, why did that extra 2 million pounds come up from Bayern, right? Like, you now have, like, in theory, Bayern have more leverage, right? You had a disgruntled player who wanted to be there. And the window's closing. And somehow Bayern paid more?
I mean, I think it's impressive that even to get that much money for a loan fee is kind of nuts. I mean,
insane.
Especially for the player in question.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look.
Jackson's decent, bro.
He's decent, but he's not like, I'm gonna pay you hella money just to loan him, like, decent,
Yeah.
And Bayern is like, I mean,
and he's gonna be their second string striker against, behind Harry Kane, obviously.
Harry Kane,
yeah.
Which is also questionable, I mean, playing 15 million for a backup striker on loan.
I think he'll play. He'll play more than you think. I think he's not going to play backup striker more than he'll play like a second striker role. He'll back up Harry Kane for sure.
Behind the striker.
Yeah, especially with Musiala out, right? Like,
that's fair.
And he actually his distribution was very good. His hold up play was very good. His chance creation was good. His finishing was ass. So if you aren't relying on him to finish as much, like, okay, yes, there are questions about his finishing. I fully agree with that. That's why I'm happy we got someone like Delap and João Pedro who can finish. But I don't hate it. I think 15 million pounds is a lot for Nicolas Jackson. I'm happy about that as a Chelsea fan. Like, I think that's great. I question why Bayern would pay that much and then pay more to have him for a second plane flight. Like, that didn't make any sense. But I think he'll do well. I think he'll do well in Bayern, man. I think there's a player there. I think there's a player that just needs playing time and needs to be around some sort of elder straight statesman who can teach him how to finish. Because that's the thing he's not didn't have, and there was no one on Chelsea who could finish that well. So who the fuck was he going to learn from?
Mm-hmm. I think these two other players that I matched them up with, these are not in any specific order. They're just kind of chronological as I was like monitoring. But Pavard at Marseille is a great signing, in my opinion. They need a man like that. They've lacked order in the back, but they look decent going up front with Greenwood and Aubameyang. But I think that's a great bit of business. And then Inter replace him with Akanji, which I think, we all know what Akanji can and can't do, but I think if your other options are Acerbi and De Vrij and other, I think it's okay. Like, I would have probably gotten rid of De Vrij before I got rid of Pavard as a, packing order of center backs, but you could sell him, market him a little bit better to Marseille. Yeah. So, and Xavi Simons, I think, is a good bit of business from Tottenham, even though I
hope that's a deep fake, because I've never seen anybody smile like that and point at a Tottenham badge.
Yeah, I mean, these are all Fabrizio.
Son was there smiling and pointing, bro.
I don't know, man.
These are all Fabrizio Romano's AI pictures. Anyways.
AI, it's better be AI.
Isaac at Liverpool official. Finally, yeah. Harvey Elliott gonna play at Aston Villa, and then we were talking about Akanji, but Isaac at Liverpool puts them like as favorites for not just the Prem but also Champions League, probably. I'm not saying they will, but they gotta be. They gotta be.
So
out
what
there.
Do they just immediately drop Ekitike and slot Isaac in there?
I mean, they play enough matches. I think they can play both. I think Isaac will play the next 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah. I want to see them playing in the same.
I think they gotta
team,
figure out a way to play both, because Ekitike is red hot. I mean, he's in great form and
he looks
great
amazing.
Player. Yeah, I feel like almost like figure out a way that you can. I mean, Salah is not gonna make the same minutes as he's getting old, so maybe you can drop Gakpo too and just go two up front and like have a little bit more dynamic. I mean, I think
he can play on the wing a little bit too, right?
I
Yeah,
think they
he
can
can-
both
he
play
can.
out on the wing. I feel like both Ekitike
Yeah.
and Isaac can play on the wing.
I think
Yeah.
Isaac has gotten used to being in front of goal though. I don't think he wants to like slot back in as a winger anymore.
I mean, he had
he
this
has-
one assist on Newcastle, was last season or the season before, where he slalomed down the whole wing and
Oh, yeah.
dribbled through. This is like my favorite assist ever.
I have a
So-
couple Berbatov assists I would put before that, but I still don't disagree. I mean, he's a great player. The thing is, he's gonna do great. I don't have a doubt in my heart. I think this is the man that Arsenal should have gone after. Fuck Gyökeres. I would have paid all the money in the world if I'm Arsenal to get this guy. The fuck are you going on about Gyökeres,
I
Zubimendi,
bet
and
they
all
tried.
Like,
It sounds like he just wanted Liverpool the whole time.
I'm sure, but
Only
Yeah.
wanted Liverpool.
and
Yeah.
that's despicable, Angel, right? A little bit.
Fucking Onana.
We also, I mean, I'm excited to see Gijo at a place where he's needed and appreciated. I'm a little bit salty about how dirty Luis Enrique did him, to be honest. Just
I don't blame Enrique, bro.
Yeah.
Don't blame Enrique. Blame PSG, right? Like Enrique's taking the fall for them, but like
You
bro,
think?
like,
I mean,
yeah, bro. He
in the
didn't.
Ita-
He didn't want to cut his contract down, right? Like PSG reset their wage structure, and he didn't want to take the pay break, so they got rid of him.
Well, I mean, I'm like he's best
But why
keeper in the
should he?
world last
Yeah.
year.
No.
He just won
Yeah.
him the Champions
Oh,
League. He's like, oh, let me
I-
get a pay cut because they
No,
gotta
I
pay
don't-
some kids.
I don't fault
younger than me.
Donnarumma. Like I don't fault
Yeah.
Donnarumma. Like I don't fault him. I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
right, like it came down to a financial decision. It's that
Right.
Everybody
But I
on
think the way
PSG
that they dropped it was pretty disrespectful.
Yes,
and then
I agree.
he deserved to have a goodbye match at the very least.
sure.
Yeah.
And to just say, oh yeah, we're changing tactically, and he's just out of the squad all of a sudden, and he's on the transfer list, is, if that's the truth or not, you don't have to say all that publicly in that way.
Yeah, but end the series or not end the series. What's the guy? That's the head of PSG, the Qatari dude. He's
Yes.
clearly his statements to the media and the way that he functioned with the media, the way he moved with Mbappe, the way he's moved previously, like aren't good. Like right, like
Yeah.
the Mbappe shit looked terrible for them. Right, like
It
you
was
can cool.
really
They're
bad.
a fun. They're a fun team right now, and like they just won the Champions League, and that's really dope. And like they play good football and all that shit. But like the business side of PSG like is pretty fucked. And like Enrique has multiple times like trumpeted like just kind of what they want, what the club wants him to say. Because like he said, oh, like when Mbappe, like when they dropped Mbappe, he was just like, oh, like we want to play a different type of player, or like Mbappe doesn't fit the way that we play, which is like, bro, like what, you know what I mean? Like same here, like right. I get it, like right, like business is business, and that's football, cool. But I think if you have to abstract out like when coaches are talking for the club and versus when they're talking for the actual strategy, and I think this is one of the situations where like I'm not going to fault Enrique for like I will fault Enrique for being the mouthpiece for the organization. I won't fault him for saying, oh, we want to change our style if the club is saying, yo, we're not paying Donnarumma and we've already got Chevalier. Like, what are you supposed to say in that situation? Like, hey, like we're gonna drop Donnarumma because he doesn't want to take a pay cut, like, and do it the whole Donnarumma shit again, like, right, like that.
Yeah.
You want to do that again, like,
Yeah.
I just think it's disrespectful to even ask of him to take a pay cut. I think it is
Sure,
because it's
sure.
like this is a guy, we're not talking about Onana here, who's like oh like is like you should take a seat and like understand your worth now that you've performed bad. But it's like, oh, this is a guy that arguably the best keeper in the world,
Yeah, I agree.
like in
Let's
that
be clear.
conversation at
it
least.
wasn't it wasn't a pay cut, right? Like he wanted a specific raise, and they wanted to give him an incentive laden raise instead, and he didn't want that. He wanted all the money. He wanted like 10 mil salary, and they were like, we'll give you like 6 + 2 or 7 + 2, something like that. And so he was like, no. And so they were like, okay, fine. And like this happened at the end of last year. And so like that's why they were already gonna go get Chevalier. Like that was kind of in the cards. Like people have been talking about it. And then so they just went and got Chevalier. And so then it was, yeah, okay, cool. You've got Chevalier. Like Donnarumma's out. And Donnarumma knew that too, right? So like however they want to paint it from like oh, yeah, the club did me dirty or we're changing tactically. No. he didn't want to agree to the club he wanted one type of extension, and the club said this is the type that we're willing to offer you, and he didn't want to take it. So he knew that he was going to leave. And so, like, cool, you can put all this emotional, like, oh, whatever, but like his agent and him.
I think I was fooled by the Italian media, to be honest, because the way you broke it down right here, it makes more sense. Because in the Italian media, I guarantee you, like, they are trying to spin this as in like.
Yeah, that sounds like a different story altogether.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of different.
Go look that shit up. Like, go look at really what happened there. It was about like is he willing to? He wanted like 10, and they were willing to give him like 7 plus 2, right? Like which. And the other thing was all of the other new signings that PSG had just taken like incentive-laden deals, right? Like they're trying to restructure the wages after Mbappe. After Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, their wages were all out of place. And so they've gotten all this young talent, gotten them on cheap wages, on like, cool, you win the UCL, we'll give you a fat bonus type wages. And Donnarumma was the last holdover from the Neymar, Messi, all of that pay structure. And so they're like, cool, we're trying to build this team. We have to build this team this way going forward. That's how we win. That's what's successful. And he's like, no, I want the bag. Okay, cool. We're just not going to be the people that give you the bag.
Well, I think he's going to do great at Man City. I mean, that back line needs help, needs relief. So,
and if they don't force him to play with his feet, then
I don't think they...
You have to feel bad for Trafford.
I feel really bad. I feel shitty for Trafford.
And he had an amazing game. And honestly,
very good.
All of their build-up, you know, they didn't play great against Brighton, but he had he had probably touched the ball more than Haaland, you know?
Yeah.
He started all their moves.
Absolutely.
You know, he's really good with his feet, you know?
That's what I want to
It's not a question that it's not a question that I think Trafford is a valid option. Like, but I don't see him yet in his career as a guy that's going to make you the game-winning save, like, completely out of nowhere.
He made a number of incredible saves, though, against Brighton that were, you know, had they been better going forward, they would have been more important, you know.
I think he had a good game. I mean, personally, from the game I saw, like, I don't think he was, like, he could have gotten them the tie for sure, but it's like, in a Champions League match, like, this is a proven guy that's won the Euros for Italy. He's won the Champions League for PSG. Yeah. We're talking about, like, you're
I'm not
getting
saying
a guy...
you play Trafford over Donnarumma at all, you know.
Oh, no, I know you are. But, like, I'm agreeing with you also that it's, like, the respect I have for Trafford. Like, I want to see him playing at a team. I don't want to see him sitting on a bench, you know. I want to see him playing somewhere.
For me, City getting Donnarumma seems like weird business. I don't understand the need for Donnarumma other than the fact he's the best keeper on the market and he's there, right? Like,
and he's available.
Fine. Yeah. And he's available. Like,
he's available. Let's get him.
And you're one of the few people that can pay him. Like, I understand that aspect of it. I understand, but from like a tactical standpoint, and from like
well, and you look at like Man U needs a good keeper, and they're getting another potentially like second or third string level keeper.
Yeah,
you know.
Mm-hmm. But like Man U's also trying to reset their wage structure, right? Like also trying to reset their wage structure, right? So like I get it. Like I get how he ended up at United. It just feels like a weird fit at the end of the day, especially when you just signed Trafford, who, for all intents and purposes, is someone who came through your academy, who understands the play style, and is a good keeper. Like that. To be frank, that's what I wanted Chelsea to get. Like, right? Like, if all the business that I wanted out of Chelsea this year was to give me something that's not Robert Jackson, I don't want to see Robert Jackson making suspect decisions. Yeah, sorry, Robert Sanchez. Just confuse two people there. But like, I don't want to see Robert Sanchez making suspect decisions again. And like,
I
had this like
personally, but
this thought that Ederson was gonna go to Chelsea for some reason. I mean, I think he's an improvement over Robert Sanchez.
Yeah, I think, for at least from the numbers, from what I've been reading and from what I've witnessed, he's become less elite in terms of shot stopping. His distribution is still there though. Like, right, like. And that's the part about Ederson that like Ederson's the best distributing keeper that we've seen outside of Neuer, right? Like, like it's almost not even a question, right? Like, bro, Ederson had more assists last year than I think, like fucking like anyone on Man U had, something like that. Like, some crazy statistic.
Why did he get pushed out of the club? I don't understand why.
No one else like on some other team. He wanted to get paid and he wanted to go.
Yeah.
Well, and the Turkish league this season, this transfer window has been going off. I mean,
it's crazy.
Fenerbahce just signed Ederson, Marco Asensio right here. They got
Arthur Koglu.
Artokoglu from Benfica after he eliminated
He
them in the
eliminated them, yeah.
Champions League.
Crazy.
That's kind of
Former
nuts.
Gala player too.
They got Edson
I mean,
Alvarez in midfield. I mean, you know, and then Galatasaray is out here signing people for fun. I mean, I don't even understand, like Leroy Sané, Osimhen, like Gundogan. This next couple of days should probably sign for Galatasaray as well.
Yeah, there's some crazy shit going on from a political standpoint in Turkey that's like pushing these team clubs to have crazy budgets right now.
Right.
Erdogan's like filtering money back through soccer to like basically just be like, cool, you guys can like, because they're both owned by construction magnates, and they're both Erdogan's basically filtering money back to them, like, cool, like go off, because and so it's like it's cool.
They're trying to Turkey's hoping to host the Euros. So they're like working a lot on just the infrastructure and getting eyes into like their league, which I think I think is a smart way to do it. With they're not just signing older people for shirts. They're like signing Osimhen is a big deal for Galatasaray. I mean, 75 mil is a lot of money in the Turkish league, and he better perform. I he's always gotten injured every season for Napoli, so I really wish him luck with that. I hope that their 75 million investment pays out, but I have no respect for the guy, but I hope that at least he doesn't get hurt. That's, I don't wish that on anyone. Rabiot to Milan, I think, is an interesting signing. It goes in clusters, that midfield that we were talking about earlier, even more. It's like you're picking a starting lineup to play one game a week, and you're choosing between a lot of valuable options. So Fofana, we forgot about him earlier, but he's a great midfielder too. So I mean, it's just confusing bit of business, I think, from Milan. But Allegri wanted his guy, so they got him.
Yeah.
They also got Nkunku. I wanted to show here. God, I always forget this guy's name. I've known him my whole life. I've watched him play. Real Madrid.
Lucas Vasquez?
Yes.
Lucas Vasquez, yeah.
Yes. Lucas Vasquez. His name is so generic that for some reason, in my mind, it does not sync. You know what I mean?
Well, it's also because they have the other dude, Danny Garcia. What's Danny Ceballos. I feel like him and Danny Ceballos like interchangeable players for me, because I'm like, all right,
a little bit.
You come off the bench for Real, like when you need to play. All right, bet, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, super random signing for Leverkusen.
Good signing. I think that's good business. They don't have any players, and he's good.
Yeah. Newcastle had to get their number 9, I guess, one way or another. They
got Wissa too, didn't they?
And Wissa as well.
They got Wissa as well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm almost more hyped about Wissa. I mean, they paid less, but like, I think he's a solid player.
Definitely.
Yeah, like when you sign the player from like a Bundesliga side like Stuttgart, it's like I don't know. Like the Prem is very demanding. It's like, how do you there's definitely gonna be an adjustment period. The same with Gyökeres right now.
Around Voltemade.
Yeah.
In Germany especially. And having Bayern, being after his signing early in the window, and then it not panning out, I think just increase his value, his desirability value.
I forget what the fee was, but it was steep. I think it was
85 or 95 mil or something.
I think it was 85.
75, something like that.
Yeah, it's also gets confusing with pounds, euros, and dollars, which the amounts fluctuate. So, but I mean, it's definitely not a cheap signing, and I like Newcastle as a team. I don't have a British team, so I kind of like fluctuating between these teams that I kind of like. And Newcastle is one of them, and I just hope it works out for them.
Yeah, I mean, they struggled last year because they didn't have depth.
Right.
They struggled 3 years in a row because like they overachieved and then struggled because they didn't have depth. I'm excited to see them try to build a squad that has some depth. I think getting him and Wissa is a good fit. I want to like Newcastle, bro. I like fucking who's their coach? I'm blanking on the coach name right now. Casebra's face. Their coach I fuck with, right? Like they got a squad. I'm here for Newcastle to be good, bro. I'd rather have them be good than United be good. Put Newcastle back to the top 6, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting to see them in the Champions League for sure. Now 2 years in a row, I think that's a good, it's a good business model for them that's working out. I mean, I think they played an amazing match against Liverpool, being a man down most of the game. They played, showed no fear. Just they deserved the tie, honestly. And they deserved maybe a little bit more than that, and then ended up losing 3 points. But
yeah, I mean, I like their midfield is fun. Like they got squad, bro. I like that squad.
Yeah,
their midfield is fun, bro. Like, this is a good team.
We talked about Edson Alvarez and Victor Boniface a little bit, but Fabio Silva signing with Dortmund, I mean, I don't think he's going to take the place of Girassi. They're probably going to alternate between competitions, but Girassi is on fire. I think he's set to have like another great season. He had a great season last year.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one tried to pick him up.
I was thinking
he's older, right? He's like 28.
He'd be a great signing for like Man United.
Or fucking
we need
Arsenal.
a proven striker, or Arsenal. He's a baller.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also get it from Grass's standpoint. It was like, you just moved the year before and you balled out and you don't want to move again. Like, go 2 years, see what the fuck happens, get your check. They paid a lot for him.
Yeah. Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah.
Alexis Sanchez joined Sevilla. Random, kind of Maradona-esque move when he joined Sevilla out of nowhere, and everyone was like, "What? Okay." Nico Gonzalez going to a rough-looking Atletico Madrid side. I mean, they're not looking good this year. And then this guy on the right, this man's name is Żegrova.
Yes, Edon Żegrova, right?
Yes. I think that this is a great signing for Juve. Like, I saw him a little bit last year in the Champions League. He balled at Slavia Praga. But, I mean, I think really good player. And remember this name because he's gonna have a good year. Especially in the Champions League.
This year?
It's Tudor.
Okay.
He used to play with the great winning Juve side, but he's not. I mean, as a coach, he's all right. I think that's kind of what they need right now. I mean,
they had what's his name that was at Thiago Motta, right, last year, and it just didn't work.
But see, as a Juve hater, I've studied them a lot because you gotta know what you hate and why you hate, and Juve has. It's one of the teams in the world, like Man United, for example, that have so much pressure put on them just because of that name. And I think it doesn't help when you hire someone like Thiago Motta, who's everyone's looking at and praying for his downfall. Because he had a great season at Bologna and everyone is like, oh, but he's not going to do it at Juve. And that already puts so much stress on him, the squad. They made some questionable signings last year. Douglas Luiz, and he's gone again. Like, he played like maybe 3 games in a year.
Where did he end up?
He went back to the Prem. He's at Nottingham Forest, yeah.
They also signed Zinchenko, Forest.
Yes, they signed him today. I think interesting. I mean, I'm glad that Zinni is getting some playing time because at Arsenal isn't going to happen. But yeah, what I was leading with that is that I think Juve is going to have a good year because Tudor is not a demanding coach, and him being there kind of takes the spotlight away from them. They're like, oh, well, don't worry about them. But that's what they need, I think, right now. If you put someone that needs redemption at Juve, like Sarri or even Conte, they would do well, but it just adds pressure. They don't need more pressure.
Makes sense.
That's the end of my PowerPoint. We went so long today, but I enjoyed talking to you guys. I learned a lot. I mean, doing this podcast is not because I'm an all-knowing football guy. I know Serie A really well. I know Prem all right, but doing this podcast is for me to learn things, for our audience to learn things, for my friends to have a platform to like cry about their team or rejoice and crash out. But hopefully we'll be on this journey all together for a long time, and I'm grateful that you guys are here today.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you for having me.
Having us. Enjoy the championship.
Yeah, thank you.
Enjoy the championship, bro. It'll be fun for you next year.
All right.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having us. A good time. Let's do it again.
Of course. You guys are welcome anytime.
Oh yeah.